Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, she's moving back to Illinois.
Oh, getting out of Florida.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
So what's been going on with you, Mike? What are you working on recently?
Working on the overboard still. So
yeah.
I've almost got it wrapped up. So, and then a whole bunch of custodies for 40K.
Oh.
Trying to get, it's
40K, that's rough.
Yeah.
Well, it's army painting is brutal.
It is very brutal.
It's not. They're not white this time, are they?
Yeah. Some of them are. Yeah.
That makes it even worse.
Why do they're white plastic? They're white?
No, they're plastic, gray plastic, and then I primed them and I'm painting them the white. They're uniform white.
The armies are white.
Yeah, the armor is white with blue cloth, and then.
Can you hear us, Patrick, as we're talking in the background?
It hasn't shown up live for me yet.
Yeah, you got to refresh it.
It just did for me.
Awesome. Good to see. Good to hear, Patrick.
There it goes.
There he is. He's Patrick.
Mike, I'm giving away the final 2 unpainted scarns I have tonight.
Oh wow!
That'll be it for scarns for now. What we'll see.
I'm gonna try to help you out, Mike, because I've got to get an electrician in to do some work that we got a resin printer.
Right on.
So I'll probably I'll buy the SPL of scarn. That way you don't need to keep shipping them to us, and I'll just print them.
You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I can give it to you, buddy. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I don't mind doing it because support Christine at the same time.
Yeah. It's up to you, but you really don't have to do that. She'll tell you the same thing, I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing?
What's going on? We're starting to rock and roll in here and get things going. We're still waiting for Christine to hop on. That's why I want to move her around.
We're good. We're early.
Well, actually, we're right on time on Preludes. What time zone is Christine in?
She's an hour behind us. That's why I'm hoping that she doesn't get it mixed up.
That's possible. If not, we'll have to.
We'll have to adjust it.
We'll have to adjust it. We're gonna have to. Hello. Anything is possible.
He did make it clear it was our time, right?
Yes. I've always said EDT. I don't know how else to get in touch with her.
I'll give her a message. Might be setting up her stuff too.
Yeah. Did you, Bill? Did you see Infinite Dimensions? Someone put up a unpainted arena or whatever.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's starting. August will be starting that project.
Hey Anna, what's up?
I'm gonna look at a sheet MDF board so I can make the base.
This is 2 weeks in a row. Anna gets off from being on a Gabbin. 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
Thank you, Balrog John, for the follow just now. I'll get it up on the announcements shortly.
That bridge tower is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is coming right here, the fighting pits.
The fighting pits is also just beautiful stuff.
Yeah, we're gonna. That's for. You'll be part of that, man. The Grand Melee of Altamira. Yes. At least 16 competitors, at least with grudge matches. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be awesome. Looking up.
I tell you, the new.
Go ahead, bud.
Yeah, the new Bones mini for the month. Air Drill Star Balloon looks really good.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we may get that because I looked at if you bought all the packs for ReaperCon, you got the minis of the month for June, July, and August. So we may already be getting that. Yeah, it may be here Tuesday or Wednesday. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's Bobby Jackson did a nice job on it.
Yeah, so that's yeah, we have all those, and the great thing is the Kickstarter's extra buildings for different dimensions are still coming out, everyone. It's just the problem is that you know, we are limited in time on what we're printing at the present, but there's their setup. And let me hit up for Gamescape here, and let me go to this and hit this new Gamescape ad coming up. And that's the wrong one. Oh, I bet you I didn't switch it. Oh, Jay. All right, well, we're leaving the old one up. I didn't switch the ad on this one. See, there's always something I forget.
Oh, you can put the new video in.
Yeah, on this one. On the other ones I did. Yeah. So.
Jay, you're just gonna keep growing and growing. You're gonna run out of room. What are you gonna do? You're gonna have to run out of space. Because as the channel grows, you know what I mean? Your production has got to grow with the channel. So you're going to have to, next thing you know, there's going to be a Zumba store. You know?
Oh, I'm not sure about that. Watch, I'm pushing my luck here. I know I'm pushing my luck, but we're going to do this. Let's see if I can get this in time here. I don't even remember what the name of this vid was. Oh, that was dumb of me, Jay. I don't remember what the vid was. One sec, as we're blank here for a second. This is Jay's technical. Here we go. All right, there we go.
You got the new vid. There
I put the new one in on the fly. Oh, good to see you, Alderon. Sorry that you don't have a game tonight. Hey, Natural 20, good to see you.
Gamescape.
Caesar. Oh, that's good, sure. I'm glad to see you on. When is GreyhawkCon this year? Well, watch. If I hit this button here, it should tell you. First weekend in October. Registrations are live now. And sign-ups are 2 weeks from today at noon. Noon, August 15th. All right, that is when all the event, you can sign up in the events. Every highlighted stream has open sign-ups this time, every single one. So, yeah, when I hit that button, I'm rolling the dice here. All right, Christine is green now. That's a good sign.
That ruins just looks amazing.
Yeah, isn't that nice? He spoke a Zumba wrong, but I'm not going to beat up Jeremy for that, right? Can't beat up Jeremy for that.
Kasumba. Look at Zumba.
Yes.
Ooh, Zumba.
I'm typing in something to her now.
Yeah, I messaged her too.
Yeah, I just said I hope you knew it was Eastern and not Central. That's my bad. It's my bad if not the case. So
you're interrupting your dinner.
Yes, and if we are, then it's going to be Mike, Bill, and me for a little bit, which is fun.
We'll just sit here and talk about Anna since she's not on. She's in the audience, you know. She can just type back.
Somebody on Facebook posted Anna's her map. The guy did it like a giant blanket or something.
Yeah, he did.
Like 5x4.
Yeah, but then I complained to him. I said, "You got the wrong one. There's no Altamira on that map." She got the wrong one, man. Because the 576 map actually has Altamira now, so he was using an older one. Yeah, exactly, Anna. See, you know. Oh, I forgot to switch a pick too. What? I knew there's something. I got it here. Rakshasa. Use that one. Spikes. Yeah. I was waiting. Yeah, Anna's in the chat there, Walt, because yeah, this is 2 weeks in a row now. By the way, Walt, sorry, I've been swamped all weekend. I know I didn't even talk.
Yeah, the Rakshasa is good. I did one in the game a couple weeks ago.
So if you want to see some other old school D&D, go over and follow old school D&D right there. It's in the link is in chat. Yeah, we gotta talk though and get that all set up. Oh, there's some really nice stuff. Where do you see all the stuff that Christine does?
Yeah, she does incredible work. She's up there.
Patrick's busting my balls. Hey, he spelled it wrong. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna go, hey, great vid, Jeremy, but you spelled my name wrong.
Somebody's gonna go out there and make a Twitch handle with that name.
You know what, Mike? You're probably right, man.
Lord Gazumpa.
You're probably right, because people are cruel. So 1 second here as I'm trying to... There we go. All right, I missed the cue there. We're still waiting for Christine to come on. Good evening, everyone. So I'm not going to be able to reset this, so let me turn this off, hide that, boom, boom, boom. What's going on, everyone? I'm JK Lord Gazumba, and we're hoping that Christine didn't get time zones mixed up, but she hasn't responded. We'll figure it out. So, you know... Hello, I have with me the great and sponsor of our channel, Mike Disney, again. Mike, welcome back.
Hello. Thank you.
And we have and my friend Bill, the Master Crafter. You may know him as Cheshire Scorn on Instagram and in Discord as well. Yeah, so we are awaiting Christine, and my guess is she got time zones mixed up. That's my guess, because she's Central Time. So, but that's okay. So let me do some shout outs here real quick. So tonight we're going to talk sculptor, painter, and crafter's the name of it, and how Mini goes from concept stage all the way to finale, how it gets when it's finished. And what I'm going to do is, what I'm going to do is we're going to go through things from scratch, where we are, like how it begins with Christine, and talk about, so Mike, you see that? I wanted to sneak peek that, but Christine gave me those. Look at those original concept prints, man. Yeah, I'm going to blow them up a little bit.
One's for Scarn right there.
Yeah. So note this. I mean, I was spoiled last month, and we're in a new month now, and those cheers are gone. I was like, oh my gosh. I mean, thank you everyone for last month was a record by far, and I really appreciate it from everyone. It was really nice, and you know, we really appreciate here at the channel. We can keep things cranking and rocking and rolling here. And oh man, look at that. So we're already cranking it up here with some stuff. Thanks, man. Thank you so very much. So I'm looking forward to this discussion, because you look at I don't even know how they did it. Mike, do you like an old Grenadier or an way old Ralpartha? They did what was called greening, right? Is that how they worked on it?
Yep.
Do you know what that process was?
It's green stuffing. It's just sculpting with green stuff, which is pretty much a plumber's epoxy. And it's a 2-part epoxy. It starts off with, you know, yellow and blue, and when you mix those two together, it makes a green, sort of sticky. It's like clay, you know. It's hard to really describe. I would say like a clay. So, and and you can use it to sculpt with it. Christine's
Here she comes.
incredible sculptor.
Here she comes. Sorry, she's going to be below. If I move them around, it'll mess up at this point. So.
I know I got some green stuff around, but what I did with it, I don't know.
Woohoo!
There she is.
Anytime, Taryn. Anytime for the shout out.
Taryn,
of course. Anytime. Already got a hype train running there. Thank you, Quimz, for the cheers, and Patrick for the sub and all. And Christina's. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so very much for coming on tonight. We're really excited about this discussion. I was worried that we got time zones messed up. So I was like, oh no. So everyone, this is Christine Van Patten. Christine, why don't you tell the crowd, and we already got over 80 people on already, and we just started. So we're looking forward to this wonderful discussion on Twitch. We're doing more and more crafting streams as it seems like the community is really looking forward to this for discussions on, modeling and making terrain. And this is our first opportunity. And I want to say two things. One, thank you, Bill, for the idea. And two, thank you so very much, Mike, for reaching out to Christine and making this happen, because this is just going to be a wonderful discussion. Could you just tell a little bit about yourself and how you started and how you got to the point of miniature making?
Sure. Well, I was at UTSA studying for bachelor's in art with a minor in art history. And I went to ReaperCon sort of on a whim.
Oh.
And I was in sculpting class at school, and my husband was telling me all about miniatures and introduced me to this whole world I didn't know about. And he was like, hey, let's go to this ReaperCon thing. And I was like, yeah, okay, that sounds fun. And we went, and I was like, oh my God, people make these, and these are the people that make them.
Wow.
I got to meet Julie Guthrie and Bob Ridolfi and just all these big names. I was just surrounded by these famous sculptors, and I was just in awe of all of them. And they were so nice. Everyone there was so super nice, and they took me under their wing. And I'm terrible at promoting myself, so my husband was like, "You should look at all of her work. Look at her art. Isn't she so cool?" And
awesome.
He suggested that I sculpt these mushrooms, like my comid monsters. So I was working on that, and I brought those with us and got to show those around. And now looking back on it, I'm so embarrassed, but but Ron saw something in me and gave me a chance. And Julie was like, "Just sculpt this like 5 more times, and you've got it."
Oh, that's fantastic. What year was that? Did you went to ReaperCon?
Oh, let's see, that was like 2015, I want to say.
Okay, very cool. So you were an art major in college?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what I got to ask this: what did you think? Like, what was your goal in college? Would you want to do just sculpture, general painting? What would you before the miniature?
Actually, I wanted to do concept art for video games. But I was also a watercolor artist. I love doing watercolor. I actually tried to do that professionally after school, but it turns out that the gallery scene just was not for me.
Okay.
So I didn't do that for very long. But I sort of get to do concept art in my new job anyway.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Cool concept art. Really, wonderful, wonderful concept art. Bill, Mike, please. I don't want to hog up all of asking Christine all the questions. You guys got to have some questions now, Christine. I am not artistically challenged. I am artistically challenged. I have no artistic capability whatsoever, as the two gentlemen above you will tell you. So, Bill, Mike, come on, ask a question or two before we get into the miniature part here.
First off, it's really good to see you,
Yeah.
Christine. It is awesome to see you. I hope that the husband is doing good. And thank you for coming on tonight. It's great to have you on here.
It's been too long since we've been on stream together anyway.
Too long, way too long.
Yeah, it's great because you have the colliding 3 different worlds here. I'm definitely not the painter that Mike is, and when I get green stuff in my hand, it just becomes a green blob. So it's kind of nice to see where it's got, from design to sculpting to painting, and then I find somewhere to stick it in terrain. So Scarn has made his way across the board.
Oh, you modded Scarn, right?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Well, I used him 2 different times. I modded one that Mike had sent me, and I changed it to an axe, and then I also modified one and used it as a statue in a terrain piece.
Awesome.
And here is, and so I have this set so that we can do this multiple times. And you're a nice background there. What do you think of that, Christine? like that?
Beautiful,
So and we're talking about these. Of course, it didn't pop right over there. Boom. Okay, we're talking about those 2 right there, the Scarn minis. The one on the left that Mike has painted, and I believe, Mike, I got that one from a fundraiser.
Got
and
that from the fundraiser. Yep.
and that is Mike's character Scarn in my campaign. Whenever he plays, that's the character figure he uses. Now the other one, Bill, why don't you talk to Christine about what you did with that one real quick?
No, well, basically, I had a Reaper weapons pack, and I'm like, okay, well, if I have a dwarf, I don't want to use the same exact figure, so I just took a double bit axe off another dwarf and added it to it, and then kind of followed Mike's scheme, how he painted it, just changed the base colors. I went with more of a burgundy purple, and he did his with blues. So yeah, essentially the same mini.
So did you use green stuff when you're applying? Did you have to do any pinning or?
Yeah, it's just pinned. Yeah, because the Mike had sent it to me. The resin is still flexible, so I drilled it, pinned it, and it was a nice, clean, flush fit. So I didn't really have to do any green stuff to fill in any holes. Luckily, because I touch green stuff, it never comes out well.
But
yeah, the Reaper weapons pack, they're so great for little projects like that, little weapon swaps and stuff like that, where you just want to chop it off of one thing, put it on another. I love Reaper bones for that. They're so good.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I keep let me see if I can find it here.
Look at that background in Bill's. He's got this. Yeah, he took
little humble flex of that pirate ship.
Yeah, he took.
Oh yeah. I keep a whole tin of weapons, so just for such cases.
Now, do you ever 3D print weapons for modding?
I have not yet. I haven't delved that deep into it. I'm running an Ender 5, mostly doing terrain, and we just got a resin printer. But I have to get some electrical work done to run more printers. And if I don't put them in the back of the basement, I'm going to end up divorced if my wife has to hear more printers whining. So.
Yeah, so we have an Ender 3, an Ender 5, and a Elegoo Mars now. I want to shout this out. The Elegoo Mars was courtesy of Jeremy, one of our sponsors, Gamescape 3D. He actually gave it to us to do a lot more. Yeah, very nice of Jeremy. And I'll share some of his stuff at the end because it's so wonderful. The prints that he's putting out there now. So we're ready. We're ready for that to go to that next level. But Reaper has been such a wonderful partner of all of ours. Mike, they sponsor here. And they're just wonderful. And there's a place, and their terrain pieces are great too now. And that's what we love. Their scenery, we're incorporating that into our games. So real quick, giveaways. Thank you for the hype train. We're doing 3. I'm gonna kick things up here. So in case we get someone overseas, we're gonna do a $20 gift certificate to Reaper, but I'm going to give away a Mike Disney Overgourd and an unpainted Scarn together. 2 sets of those, okay? So we're doing 3 giveaways tonight. We're doing two Overgourd prints each with the last 2 unpainted Mike Disney Scarns I have that he sent to us, and we'll do a $20 gift certificate to Reaper. We'll do 3 giveaways tonight. So. Sorry to hog that time up there. Let me flip back here to a screen. So, Bill, do you have a question of Christine before we go into?
I just like to find out, yeah, Christine, I've seen most of the stuff that I've seen on your ArtStation page. Looks like it's mostly done ZBrush. Is that your primary sculpting method, or are you a green stuff sculptor as well?
I started in Sculpting, in regular polymer clay, but then I transitioned to ZBrush. Now I just use ZBrush.
Okay.
I can use green stuff, but honestly, it's faster to do it digitally.
Oh yeah, a lot, a lot faster.
But honestly, just it's a huge learning curve, ZBrush. It took months and months of just 8 to 10 hour days studying, watching YouTube videos, practice, and it was endlessly frustrating. But when you get the right thing and it's doing what you want, like, it's very rewarding. And once it becomes muscle memory, once you get into that, like, you don't have to think about the tools, you can just use them, then it's so much fun. And just being able to iterate as many times as I need to and rescale as appropriate, being able to cut different pieces or yeah, like do a weapon swap or something, just any kind of edits that a client would need is super easy to do in ZBrush, whereas in Clay that would just be like devastating. It would take weeks to go back and redo something.
Yeah.
What is there an advantage though to modeling at this point, or is it really just it's just an old technique?
Honestly, I will tell you this. I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day about animation, right? About traditional animation versus the new 3D animation. And I think it's a very accurate comparison. When you're doing hand-drawn animation, you have to think about how much you want to put in, because you're gonna have to draw this character 50 million times. So like every extra line you add to that character design, you're gonna have to draw 50 million times. So you're very deliberate about those choices. And you try to say as much as you can with as little lines as you can, right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
With 3D animation, you sort of have to take an opposite approach. You have to remind yourself to dial back and not put so much into it, because you can put as much as you want, right? It doesn't change anything. So I think they have to intentionally simplify design coming from a 3D perspective. And I think the same is true going ZBrush. When you're working in clay, getting those tiny details is a task, and you're trying to hone your skills and get as much detail as you can with the hand movements and the tools that you have, which is difficult. But when you move to digital, you can zoom in a million times. You can download a bazillion brushes. Every tool is at your fingertips, and you sort of have to remind yourself to zoom out and simplify and make more deliberate choices that read from a tabletop distance as opposed to, 50 times the size of the mini on your screen.
Okay.
Yeah, someone still has to paint it.
Right, yeah. And print it, right? Like a lot of printing concerns where you're worried about supports, things being too fiddly when you print it and breaking off. Obviously, if you're doing for a company, you have to worry about production issues. Are they going to be casting in metal, or is that plastic or resin? So yeah, there's a lot that sort of goes into the thought process behind the character designs. But I think the big thing is that reminding yourself to simplify and zoom out to a tabletop perspective, as opposed to just letting yourself get lost in all of the details that you can do in digital format.
It's a great point. Thinking about that, Bill, because so one thing we have trouble with, because we're using our best cameras, a Brio, we run 3 cameras live on our streams, is up close pictures are really tough, because we're not, we're by no means professional. I know Nightheart Gaming. I'm going to shout out Frank and Ann, and they love you too, by the way. If Frank does the producing for all the Reaper shows, if you know him, really great people. but we can't get in as close, and that's interesting thought that you have to figure out how this is going to look on the table for a miniature that's painted, and is detail going to get lost? That's it's something that I don't know if we'd ever think about. So,
well, you're going to lose a certain amount of detail for every stage of the production process. You're going to lose some detail in the printing, and then you're going to lose some detail in the mold making, and then you're going to lose some detail in every subsequent production of that mold, right, as it wears down. So you have to exaggerate way more than you would think you would have to,
okay,
just to accommodate all of the different levels of production.
Yeah.
that is something we would never consider on our end. Wow. So
It's a learning process. Honestly, I'm still learning like how to anticipate that well.
yeah. What so you started in 2015, you went to ReaperCon, and how long did you practice up? As you said, was it Julie Guthrie said, keep on doing this, keep on doing this. When was the first connection with the company that after that point? 6 months, 9 months, a year?
Well, I got started with, I made these little critter kin things, these little anthro characters, and obviously I practiced my mushrooms, and I did 15 more iterations, like you said.
Awesome.
And then I brought those back to ReaperCon the next year, and sorry, what?
You said those the first year.
Oh yeah, well Ron did the first year that we went.
Hello,
My
husband. It's okay. Hello, husband.
Oh.
Thank you.
Ron sort of bought Unsee. He was like, "There's potential in this, so I'm gonna buy the set, but yeah, do what Julie said and rework them." So we bought them that first year that I was there, but then I resculpted them to a higher quality once I had learned some better skills. And I did these little cute anthro animal things, and I ended up selling those to Bombshell Miniatures.
Okay.
Patrick Key. He's a very good friend of mine.
He's a very good sculptor as well.
Yeah, he's a fantastic sculptor as well.
And you've done some of the anamorphic stuff too for Dark Sword as well, right?
Yes, I've done quite a number of them, although I think only maybe 3 or 5 have been released so far. But
I have
yeah,
some.
I've done lots of little anthro critters for Jim and Dark Sword minis, and he's got a fantastic concept artist.
All right, so this is going to go, I apologize. This is going to go on for a bit. John, you're insane. John at Blue Box just gifted 50 subs. So,
Oh my
John,
God.
thanks, man. Thank you so very much, John.
Wow.
Wow.
I hope, by the way, I hope your friends are doing okay. I hope Evelyn and her daughter's doing okay. I know that there were some illnesses and that you couldn't stream today. But, John, thank you so very much for that kindness. Very, very nice of you.
That's amazing.
Really appreciate that. So it's going to run over. You're going to see Kaylin charging you from Seeker for a while. So let me put up some of these Dark Sword picks, because I did find, I think, 3 out there. I'm just going to put them all up and then go backwards in reverse here. There we go. Yes.
Yeah, we got 5 of them.
Okay, these are the 3 I actually have picks for. So this one fits in well because Wizards is releasing owl creatures, I believe, in one of the newest books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm almost positive. So, thanks, John. Thank you, John. We'll kill it in a nice way, though, right? Yes, I'm almost positive they have a new owl class race out. Now, I'm an old schooler and all, but hey, that's in Strixhaven. Thank you, M5. So yes, so that line is going to be very popular from Dark Sword. And a little story. Back 3-4 years ago, we've always loved Dark Sword miniatures, and we used as many Dark Swords as Reapers back when we first started. And this is before Reaper was really doing sponsorships, and Bill and I are like, Man, who should we try and approach for our miniatures? And we're with like Dark Sword. But yeah, we ended up.
Yeah, but they're a lot smaller.
They're a lot
boutique
smaller.
company,
We didn't
too.
know what
They
we were
don't
doing.
have quite the resources that
yeah.
Reaper does.
Yeah, we knew nothing about the industry back then. Really, we're just shooting in the dark at that point. But yeah, Reaper's been so wonderful and fantastic. But the Dark Sword has a little niche, you know. And do they do bones at all yet, or is they all still metal?
Still metal, although Jim recently bought an entire collection of 3D miniatures, and I know they've been in discussions about potential other material releases, but I don't know. I'm not in on all the big industry releases, but I know that they've talked about it.
Yeah, because they're selling the STLs and everything on their site now as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So those are the three I got full color. I found of paint jobs, and they're all very nice. And as you notice, just like what year do you think you did these in?
Oh, like last year.
Okay.
Were they done in Zbrush as well, or are they sculpted?
They're Zbrush.
The detail.
The owl one was actually the first miniature. That little owl with the bat thing. He was the first one that I did for Jim.
This one.
Yes, that one. And I was so nervous. Several sculptor friends of mine were like, "You'll never work with Jim. Just give it up." Like, he's very, very particular. He only works with the best of the best. Like, don't take it personally. You know, he just has his sculptors that he works with. And he's not really going to deviate from that. And I was like, okay, that's all right. You know, everyone has their group that they want to keep very pure, and he has a very clear vision for all of his lines, which I really admire. And obviously my aesthetic wasn't exactly in line with what he had going at the time. So he gave this piece to me as like a test. He was like, let's see if you can take this concept art and do it Dark Sword style and not your style or Reaper style. And I was like, okay, let me try. Let me just give you just one chance. I can do it.
So what is Dark Sword style? I'd love to hear what you think the difference is. Like,
they're much more realistic in the sense of like body
proportions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very particular about things like you won't have a belt that just disappears into nothingness or like hides behind a cloak or something. Like everything has to look like it functions as it would function in the real world. He has a very good eye for realism in those things.
Yeah, he's got some really good sculptors that he works with. I'm a big fan of Jeff Grace. His stuff is really good, and of course Tom Meier's been around everywhere.
Derek Schubert does a lot of work for him too. I love Derek's work.
So you were nervous when this one first came out, and what was your feedback from him? I'm just curious. Was it like wow, or
I turned it in and he was like, "This is fantastic."
Awesome.
And I was like, "Really?" And he was like, "Yeah, maybe just like change this, and tweak this a little bit, and it's good. You did good." And I was like, "I did it."
That is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Great to hear.
I really like that corgi with the moon staff. I think one of the fun things, like I love doing my own concept art, but one of the fun things about working with other concept artists is they just give you ideas you never would have thought of yourself.
Right.
And the artist for this one drew this beautiful moon wooden carved staff, and I was like, that is so cool. It's like a man in the moon. It's all like chiseled, carved. I took a totem pole carving class when I was in college in Alaska, and all of those techniques sort of stayed in my brain when I was sculpting this one. I was like, well, it would be really deep right here, and you'd have to chisel it like this because your knife wouldn't be able to fit there.
Well, you can see the detail on this, and even in the belts, you see the lines of it's awesome. It's fantastic. You get down on textures, I imagine, is the toughest thing to do on a miniature, and then for it to be able to see it after it's painted. Mike, Mike, about your paint jobs, how do you work that into your paint?
What do you mean?
With texture, with the texture of the miniature here, as you can see, you know, it's got those little, it's the fur raised, the belt's got the wear, you know, almost like the production or wear lines on the belt, right?
Depending on what the texture is on the miniature is what technique you use to paint. To be honest with you.
Okay. Hey, yeah.
You know, fur, it can be dry brushed with a very, very, very nice effect, or you can, you know, brush it on singly. That would take a lot longer, but and then cloaks, you know, usually use a blending or glazing for cloaks, and belts usually the same thing, except you can paint them wearing and tearing like they have on this example right here. Beautiful paint job, whoever did that.
Yeah, the painting on this one was absolutely beautiful. I loved that they kept it in a cool palette.
Yep.
Because as a corgi, I thought, oh, it's going to be very warm colors, right? Like that little orangey corgi color. But they managed to capture the corgi feel and still keep it all harmoniously in the cool spectrum of the palette. I thought that was so brilliantly done.
Mm-hmm. It's very, very nice. It's a very it's pastel, you know.
Yeah.
And I love that. The little gem on the belt, the potions inside of the belt loop, everything. It's just it's a really, really beautiful miniature, and just sculpted very well. You know, there's a lot of detail for a painter to go in there and have fun, and really use. There's several different techniques that could have been used on this miniature right here alone, and I'm sure it's a tiny little miniature.
I imagine. Well, are the scales now 28 millimeter, Christine, that you're producing to, or is it 25? What would Reaper and Darksword say?
Reaper is usually about 32 to 34.
Okay.
What they call heroic scale.
Yeah.
Heroic scale. Yeah, that
Okay.
seems to be the most common.
Hey, Jeff. Jacob Jansen's on.
Hey, Bacon.
Good to see you. So, wow. Okay, and Darksword's the same, because I know that basically it's the kind of.
Yeah, these are usually about 32, between
Okay.
28 and 32, depending on the breed.
Okay. Awesome. It is, well, these are wonderful, and I'm glad we had some painted ones from Darksword for you, for everyone to share with, just to show what a wonderful. We're almost through this 50. I'm sorry. I should figure out how to turn this off, but John from Blue Box stepped up there. Thank you, John. So, look at that. Yeah, you got a 28-month badge, Eric Grendel. So here's some things. Twitch has opened up some things now, and given all of us capability to have our subscriber badges beyond that stupid 1 year they had for just affiliates. So now I'm out to 4 years on subscriber badges. The furthest one we have is the Naz, which is three years, but he has a first badge, so he's not showing his anyway. So you'd have to go in and take a look. But there are new badges up that you'll see that people have, like Grendelwolf, you have some, Anna has some, which is good to see that we they're listening to us, which is nice. So you have, all right, so you got your Darksword miniatures, and then you when did you start doing some Reaper work?
So I released the fungal guys and the big fungal queen in Reaper Bones.
Okay.
3.
Bones 3?
Yeah, and then I don't remember what I did for Bones 4. I did probably somewhere in the 50s. I lost count of miniatures for this last Bones 5 Kickstarter.
You did a lot of the Brinewind stuff, right?
I did a lot of grinding
We're gonna
stuff, yeah.
a lot of that will be scrolling through absolutely on the Brinewind, including one that's in the shipment as we speak, that's coming, which is really fantastic. And Brinewind last year was really neat, because sea-based is something now with the Reaper ship and all the. we've always loved sea adventuring in our games, and there just was a limit. We had two resin ships from the early 2000s, and that was it. And we didn't get the what was the one, WizKids one. We didn't. It feels like let's pass on that one. But this, the Reaper ship has now opened it up. I saw someone had a pick where they bought 4 of them. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, there's people who bought 6 and 8 of them because
Yeah.
I don't think they're ever going to go into production. I think that this, I think this is a one and done.
Well,
yeah, that's obviously sculpted by the amazingly talented Chris Lewis. He is a good mentor and a good friend of mine, and he must have devoted. He put so much work into that ship, months and months and months and months of work on that ship. And I told him, I was like, this is your Maldrakar. This is your like iconic piece for the rest of your career. It's gonna be this ship. So it'll be worth the time, I promise.
It's an incredible piece. I haven't even opened the box, but I've been keeping an eye on Reaper, on the people that have been putting their painted ones up, and they look good.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any painted ones yet. I haven't
really?
Nah.
There's a couple.
There's a few on
yeah.
Facebook I've seen.
I know a couple people have actually painted the ghost ship too, as different hues to get that enhanced, to get that to pop a little bit more. We didn't get one because we were like, when are we going to use it? And then I probably could have used it on the adventure a couple weeks ago, right, Bill? Where I had a Revenant on a ship, yeah. So it's pretty funny. But
it's a big ship, so it takes up a big chunk of the table.
Yeah.
So Christine, process-wise, you start out with a concept. Is that how you just start and you're like, does someone ask you for an idea, or do you come up with them yourself, or is it a mix of that? Like, how does the process? And I know a lot of people want to know. Well, I have an idea for a mini. What is that? What is that process?
Well, it depends on the company you're working for.
Okay.
Right. Dark Sword, obviously, they work with their own concept artists so that everything stays very uniform as far as style. So Jim will just give me like a 3 to 4 drawings, and he's like, okay, just pick whichever one of these you want to work on right now. These are the ones I have on my table. So just pick which one is inspiring you right now and work on that one. So that's nice. And those are a little easier from the perspective of like, I don't have to spend a day doing the concept art myself or coming up with the character design, so I can just like jump straight into the sculpting process. But when I work with Reaper, oftentimes it starts with a brainstorm session. We're like, hey, we want to do like kids, but as adventurers too. Okay, well, what kind of kids do we want to do? Well, we want to have one for each class, right? Okay, well, maybe they should have like animal companions. Ooh, okay, so if we had a warrior kid, what kind of animal companion would he have? And then, we just sort of like brainstorm together, me and Ron. We'll spitfire different
Ron Hawkins?
Art. Yes, Ron Hawkins. Yeah.
Ron is the one that connected us with getting out the Reaper sponsorship, so thank you very much, Ron. Yeah, great guy.
He's the art director for Reaper, and amazingly in tune man. He knows what looks good. He knows what people want, and he gives a lot of creative freedom to the artists that Reaper works with, and I think it shows. I think all of the Reaper line is varied and has all of our individual personalities come through really heavily in our work with Reaper.
And this leads to this discussion, I'm assuming leads to this line of kid heroes.
Yeah, so
beautiful.
That's the kid heroes. I had initially told Ron, let's do like a kids of Camelot and do like kid King Arthur and kid Lancelot, stuff like that. And that's when I sculpted the top left one there, which was like my version of Merlin.
Oh, I love it. Love that one with the owl.
Yeah, with the owl. But then Ron saw the other concepts I did, and he was just kind of like, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. Let's do a different direction. So we like expanded on different ideas. We came up with all of these other kid heroes. But I love these. Like the
Yeah.
little Inuit girl with the bear cub. She's so cute.
No, these are wonderful, and it's uh, so you need to get the next generation involved. And this is a perfect way to do it, you know, to have your children play with using characters that are their own age, or you know, that they can relate to. It's really a wonderful idea, and painting these up would be pretty, you know, be pretty fun for them to do that too. So, you know, it's kind of a lost art, Christine. I don't know if there's so much crafting going on Twitch, but there's like 3 streams in our community, 3 streams that use miniatures, us, Nightheart, and Blue Box. That's it. And you know, you have thousands and thousands of streams that don't utilize miniatures and terrain, and it's a shame. And you know, we just want to keep. That's what we're about. And this is a good way to get children involved, and maybe they could get them into painting, get them into artwork. So, Bill.
Yeah, my kids are like, they're a little young. I have a 4-year-old girl and a 5-year-old boy now. And actually, I got their input on the new Pirate Kid Adventures for ReaperCon.
Yep.
Ron was like, I want a boy and a girl pirate kid. I want to do one as a villain and one as a hero. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I started working on designs, and I brought my kids over one by one, and I was going through all of my reference images that I had gathered, and I was like, which ones do you like? What do you like about it? What's your favorite part? What colors do you like? And I was just like talking to them about all the different costuming and the poses and which weapons they liked and why. So my kids had some big input on the designs for these.
So these are the artwork, and then from this you're going to see the. And they won't. I don't believe these were in the shipments of the Brianwood shipments. These will be at ReaperCon, correct?
Right, they are ReaperCon
Awesome.
exclusives. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
And they'll be sort of a larger scale. I think they ended up like 40, in the mid 40s. I think they're larger figures. Ron really wanted to be able to give them to kids so that kids could paint them really easily and have larger surfaces to get their brushes around and teach some painting techniques. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be really cool.
So those are going to be on sale at ReaperCon?
Yes, I believe so. I don't know what avenue they're for exactly. Just that they'll be at ReaperCon.
Do you know what material they'll be in? Are they going to be in the Bones Black or the new Bones USA?
Bones USA.
Nice.
That'll even be better with the detail.
That new Bones USA is
Yes.
amazing stuff. The detail is so crisp. All the miniatures that I've looked at so far, I haven't painted any of them, but I haven't seen any mold lines on any of them so far. I haven't caught any, at least. So
yeah,
but
it's really changing the game. That whole production process is going to be an evolution in the industry, I think.
Right.
Yeah, we were kind of a bit of miniature snobs, I'll say. I mean, we only wanted metal miniatures on our table because that's what we grew up using.
Yeah.
And that's in the last couple of years, that's drastically changed. Because we weren't going to paint monsters. That was a waste of time. Now I spent half my time painting monsters.
He's absolutely, because so D&D came out with miniatures in like from 2000 to 2008 or 9, those series. And when they came out, we had what was called the fishy box. We had a box of old grenadiers and parthas that were pieces and stuff, and they were orcs, right? We didn't have painted miniatures back then. We had painted figures for characters. We didn't have painted miniatures for monsters. And then so that's when the change happened, was when those came out, and then Reaper started coming out more and more, and then we got the sponsorship relationship. I'm like, Bill, what we had, like 10 painted monsters before that?
Yeah, we did.
Blood Bowl.
We did when Reaper came out with, and I'm going to say it was 15 plus years ago. Reaper came out with a painted series of miniatures that had the orcs and skeletons.
And a Minotaur.
And they were the only painted ones we had.
Yeah, that was,
unless we were like buying the dungeon or those things, using those monsters. Because we just didn't use painted miniatures for the monsters.
yeah, in the early 2000s, and then when we started streaming, we're like, it's time, and so that's good to know. That's really good to know, and it's exploded, and so I don't know. We try and do metals, but there's not all going to be metal. Scarn's not available in metal. Scar's a 3D print, and it's okay. Now it's kind of, but we still have hundreds and hundreds of unpainted metal miniatures out there that we're still going through. So, yeah, absolutely. All right.
3D painting or the 3D printing game has really changed the landscape.
Yep.
Just being able to go, you know what I don't have? Like a whole bunch of dark elves. And then just being able to like go on my mini factory or, Thingiverse, whatever your platform you like is, and just Patreon. There's so many Patreons with very specialized, stylized figures, and you can just print them all out, have them ready on your table that night.
Yeah, especially with resin printers, depending on your bed size, you could load up 10 miniatures and 2 or 3 hours later, you have 10 minis ready to go.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say, I'm not sure if, Mike, I know we'll probably have a little bit of a different perspective on this, is we had until, I think Scarn was like the first, we had the thought we wanted to respect what Reaper was doing for us. So we only went, with player characters, we tried to keep them almost, we may have had a Partha here and there from the old days, a Grenadier here, or even a Prince August, if you remember that company from the UK. But we tried to make we're going to go only with Reaper monsters for the time being, or terrain pieces, because we wanted to, I'm sorry, the 3D prints, terrain pieces for 3D prints. We tried to stay from the 3D print miniatures to respect the relationship Reaper had with us. And we still love the relationship Reaper has for us, but what do you think now, Bill? If that's, we're not going out and buying a ton of STLs of miniatures at this point.
No, and we really don't need to. I mean, we plan well ahead with things, and we know what we need. And to be honest, I have enough miniatures in Bones 5 that I could paint for another 10 years and still not get them all done. Not counting the stockpile of other stuff I have.
Not counting the last 3 Kickstarters. Yeah.
But the advantage of the 3D printing is it say, hey, I want to have a big bad Minotaur to fight. You know what? I don't. If I order from Reaper, it's going to take a week. I can find an STL of a cool Minotaur and print it out in a couple hours and be ready to go. And it's not, and it's also supporting the industry out there. Look, there's a ton of sculptors like Christine and that are out there that are putting great product out there. Why not use it?
Yeah, I think at first there was a lot of people who were kind of unsure about 3D printing minis because a lot of artists who were very talented at designing who could create something digitally, but they were taught in a very classic or video game type of sculpting, which just doesn't print well and hold up on a miniature scale very well. I was hearing lots of people like, oh, these aren't watertight at all, they won't print, constantly having errors, just like holes in it or whatever else. Just because it was a new thing and people thought, well, I know how to sculpt stuff, I'll just sculpt it, without knowing the rest of the production process that goes into that.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. Just supports alone is a skill.
Right, yeah. I think now you're starting to see a lot more competent creators that are able to make reliably good products that you can count on for being easy to print, well supported, all that without too much concern. But at first I think the waters were pretty rocky there for a while.
Well, we are loving the enhancements that have come on in just like the last year to 18 months in the industry. Some unbelievable stuff as far as 3D prints with buildings, terrain, what we call dungeon dressing. I mean, dungeon dressing is huge for us. Stuff like wood piles and wash stations, right, Bill? All those little
barrels, tables, carts,
that
hay
adds,
bales.
yeah.
You know, because it comes a certain point where, you know, I've always made everything from scratch material.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just easier just to print it or buy it.
Yeah.
With hours sunk into making bricks out of XPS foam, it's easier to print it.
My husband did some dental plaster casts for dungeon tiles and stuff like that, and we had bookshelves full of all these tiles that they were like fragile, they would break, you'd have to try to glue them back together. Like it was such a nightmare. Especially with kids, God.
Oh. It's a common.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that like we have original Dwarven Forge, going back to the, you know, that's the oldest stuff we play with, and that stuff is wonderful, as Mike has seen in a couple of the games. Where Scarn hasn't really come close to dying yet, right? You've not even close.
It was down to 1.
That's right, the one. Yeah, but you didn't really. It wasn't a catastrophic issue.
The monster was there, right? She was saving you.
Yeah.
So, Christina, you get art from Reaper. Doesn't matter whose art it is. From general concept, or say Scarn, when you got your art, you talked to Mike and you came out with an idea to do Scarn.
That was all. She did all that on her own.
Here we go.
Yeah.
From beginning to end on her own, out of the kindness of her heart. She did that as a surprise, actually. So
That is so wonderful.
Yeah.
I met Mike at ReaperCon, and then we ran into each other again at the Kickstarter party, the Kickstarter closing party. And I was just like, I was talking to my husband. I was like, this guy is such a character. Like everything about him, I just love him. He's so like iconic in his own way. I was like, I want to immortalize him in a figure. But we ended up becoming really good friends after that online.
Awesome.
And he was telling me about his character Scarn, and I was like, I'm gonna do this as a surprise. I'm gonna sculpt Scarn, and I had to wait a little while until I had some time in my schedule. But then I was like, by the way, here's some sketches. I'm gonna do Scarn for you, and he was like, oh, no way.
Yeah, it blew my mind.
And this is the starting sketch concept right here. And you
I
said,
was drawing Mike from his Facebook's pictures, because that's all the pictures I had of him.
That's awesome. That's actually Mike. I never even realized that it's Mike.
I like the
my
eyes staring at it.
I didn't even realize that. Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, me and Mike had long conversations about dwarves, because I was like, I've never sculpted a dwarf before, actually. And he was like, well, this is what I like about dwarves, and this is what I think about dwarves. And we went over like all kinds of different companies, dwarves, and what we liked and didn't like about them.
Yeah.
Wow. And so from that, and this is where I think a lot of the audience would love to know this process. So you get on Z-Knife and then you start creating this rendering. How long does that take from sketch to doing this, getting this 3D model?
I mean, it depends on the complexity of the model, but usually about 2 days.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't take her long. She's fast. She's super fast.
The first day, I usually I build a Z-sphere rig with all the basic proportions that I want, and then I'll pose that, and then I'll block in all of the big shapes, make sure the whole composition is working. Maybe start working on the face, because without a face, like, I don't know, you gotta have a face before you can really dive into the details more.
Okay.
So I do the face, and then day number 2 is usually all just rendering textures and polishing it all up and making it pretty.
And I mean, the detail on the belt is awesome, you know, and it just, I mean, look at the adornment on the middle of the hammer too. I mean,
Look at Helga. That's the hammer's name, Helga.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Yeah, it's got wonderful detail all about it, and A lot of people don't even realize it's standing on a skull there at the bottom too.
With the tongue hanging out.
Yeah.
That's a skull of a lich.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike was telling me all about one of his favorite adventures as Scarn, where he defeated the Lich, and I was like, yes, that's perfect.
A frost giant lich.
Fantastic. And then it goes from that to, and I know I have the single one up here. This is on our table, but I apologize, it's a hair fuzzy. But that is the Scarn miniature, that we have on our table. And you can see, there's the tongue hanging out of the skull, and everything else all painted up. This is a Mike Disney paint job, and
I love the gold beard adornment. So perfect.
It is wonderful and exciting, and and then we go from that to it's sculptor, painter, and crafter. Everyone, we've shown this before, but then we get to Bill, who crafts it and makes a little change, and takes another one. And we used this other figure a couple weeks ago during our St. Jude fundraiser, where we raised $8,000 over the course of the day for St. Jude.
Awesome.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
Thank you very much. And it was John at Blue Box and us. We raised our final stream. We did $4,500. And this was Jason Bullman's character Kraus. He played a dwarf fighter, and that was the character that we used for him. But he's really not assigned. Normally we take a figure and it gets assigned to a character, and it's permanent to that character. So Scarn is permanent to that character. If Jason Bullman ever plays Kraus again, then we'll use that one. But that miniature technically is open to assign, maybe to if someone wants to play a dwarf in a new group, or
because once in a while, when I can break my chains from Jay's projects, I'll paint what I want to paint.
Oh, Bill. So Bill.
Wait, how long does it take to paint?
Good question.
To paint it.
Mike and Bill, why don't you both answer that?
To what? Paint Scarn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, about 3-4 hours.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about right for me.
Yep.
Okay.
And it depends on the mini too. My skill is not Mike, anywhere near Mike, but my stuff's good tabletop. But if a quick mini for me is 2.5, 3 hours, depending on what it is.
And Christine, Bill is churning out stuff right now. I mean, literally, the stuff that's coming out is insane.
Terrain's easier to paint too than minis.
Yeah, he's done all of the terrain for the Reaper 5 so far, except for the big monkey face piece.
Wow.
Let's show some stuff you'll see Thursday night. How's that sound? So this is all right. So what this is here. This is the final. Sorry if I'm giving away stuff. This is in the final encounter. The tree is a scratch build, I believe. Bill, correct?
Yeah, that's my greatest sculpting ever. I'll never do that again.
Because that took forever, correct?
Awesome. Trees
It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's just DOS clay on a bent piece of all thread.
Trees are hard. Trees are not easy to do.
I love how the skulls actually are inside the tree. I mean, that is so cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
that is really cool.
And
it is so difficult to make something look like naturally chaotic. Like if you do
it's hard.
Landscape terrain or something like a tree, like it just your hands tend to make it a pattern instead of random.
Yeah. Thank goodness for Games Workshop skull boxes. Otherwise,
the Games Workshop skull boxes they're perfect price for
Let me go to the next one, and let's give Reapers its due, because this is a great piece, and that's
one thing that Reaper needs to do is they need to come out with a box of skulls.
That happened on the. Hey, Kayla, Tom Lord's wife is raiding in. Hey, Kayla. Great to see you.
We were talking about Patrick Keith from Bombshell earlier. He was showing me how he sculpts heads, and he told me that one of the things he does when he sits down to sculpt green stuff is he'll just start with a head and he'll like just, you know, bump, 5 minutes, like time himself, no more than 5 minutes to make a head, to make a face. And then he just throws that like in a collection of heads that he has, just as a way to warm up and, you know, get your mind going, get your hands in the rhythm, and then, you know, he would start on whatever project he was doing. But he's like, so now I just have this giant collection of heads, and whenever I'm, you know, cutting close on a deadline or something, or I need a head for something, I just dip in the little collection of heads I have.
You can never not. It's skulls and heads.
Skulls, heads, and weapons.
I always need more orc heads to put on spikes.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, and that's one of the things with the dressing. So this piece here is actually a Reaper cast that just came out, what, 2 months ago, Bill?
Yeah, it was. I think it's a Bones 4 piece.
It's a Bones 4 that they just.
And it came out in it was either May or June, maybe in June.
So Bill has taken up, painted it up, and used a lot of the adornments from. I'm sorry, I forget the UK crafter who does those.
It's a mix of Rival Crafts and Woodland Scenics and a couple others.
Yeah. And notice we have some plastic minis out, and then we have one painted bear. And I'm giving away the final counter. I'm sorry, everyone, but you know, it's okay for this. We wanted to show that, you know, Reaper is getting in on more and more scenery and terrain, which is nice. And I wanted to highlight this piece and this that they have are showing all within. This is all inside of old Dwarven Forge. And I just looked, and this set, and this is like 3 sets of the Cavern set. The cheapest these are now on eBay are $450 for one set, and that's crazy. The price,
the old resin.
The old resin. The price has gone through the roof there. So there you go. Just wanted to show that. So a lot of great things, and how did I lose your logo there? I got to pop that back up. So a lot of great things are coming out. So we know that process. So, Christine, how much time, what was it with Skarn overall for you?
Skarn I really took sort of lazily as far as like time frame. I didn't have to do it. It wasn't like a, you know, production piece that needed to get turned out really fast. So I think I probably took a week, like just talking to Mike about dwarves and doing sketches and fiddling around with making dragon scale brushes. I use that as a way to practice making an IMM brush because I had never done that before. So I used the dragon scale. I learned to make a dragon scale IMM brush, which I still have not used again after that because it was such a pain.
Oh,
really? You haven't used it at all since you've done Skarn?
Yeah.
Wow. Hopefully you get to use it again soon.
I haven't
The
actually
tool is built and ready.
to use it.
So here's if we can talk about. I know you gave me the concept sketches for the Drunken Mermaid, which here's another concept art. If you, Christine, if you'd like to discuss this one, because I know Taryn said, "Hey, I need mermaids." So yeah.
Yeah. So
He
Ron
loves
was saying
mermaids.
that he told me about this idea for this place in Brinewind called the Drunken Mermaid. That it was going to be this sort of like catch-all inn bar that all the people hung out in. It was going to be kind of like a central location for the Brinewind theme. And I was like, oh, I love it. And he was like, I want a logo for the Drunken Mermaid. And I was like, oh, okay. So we started talking about like those old wooden like hanging signs outside of bars and taverns.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we wanted to kind of capture that feel, but add in a little like pin-up sailor tattoo sort of vibe to it too.
Yeah.
So we were trying to like combine those two things, and we ended up, we couldn't decide, Ron couldn't decide whether he liked the vertical one or the horizontal one better. So he was like, just do both.
Oh, so there you go. So you did them all. Yeah.
So I ended up doing that one in the lower right, and then the one all the way on the far right.
Okay.
I love them both. I love them both. I love all of them, to be honest with you. But the two that he picked are really, Really, really cool.
She
Yeah,
was
they're
super
nice.
fun. I actually sculpted her topless, and Ron was like, "You know, you're gonna have to put like seashells or something on there, right? Like you can't just leave it like that." And I was like, "Why not?" He was like, "No, Chrissy, it has to be family friendly. You have to put something." I
Yeah.
was like, all right, fine, I will. But like,
Because then you can't see it on Twitch without something covering
Oh
it.
yeah. I was like, oh, good,
but as a
approved.
purist, the original was topless.
Awesome. So you went from that, and then I popped this up, and then you have this, and that it was done digital artwork on this.
So I sculpted it and then I poly painted it in
Oh,
Zbrush.
okay.
And so this is the poly painted image that we turned into a sticker, and then we put it on T-shirts and stuff.
That's
Zbrush
crazy. It
has
doesn't
like
even
a
look 3D. You made it look 2D. You took a 3D sculpted image and you made it look 2D and look so badass. That's just incredible.
Well, here's the surprise. If you ordered this, hobby box, okay, I believe it's that. Nope, it's not that one. Is it this one? Of course, now I forget which one it's in. I think Brynwyn box. It's in Brynwyn. Here it is.
Yeah.
If you ordered the Brynwyn box, and ours is shipped, so unfortunately I didn't get it in time for the show. But all of our ReaperCon boxes, I know we got a confirmation just shipped on Thursday. We should have them any day. So if you go to this box, you will be able to get this miniature. There you go. There's the mini.
Yeah, they're all still on sale too. All the Brynwyn box, all the
Yeah, new
ReaperCon boxes.
So fun fact about that mini, Ron and I wanted to make it a pendant, like a necklace that you could wear. So we turned the top of the anchor sideways so that you could like loop a
You could drill it and loop it.
string
Yeah.
through the top of the anchor and wear it as a pendant.
Nice.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Very nice. You could
So for all you
You do,
crafters
like-
out there.
you could do like paint exchanges and wear your paint exchanged mermaid necklace.
Yeah.
You know, that could be a thing.
Christine, do you paint too, or do you just strictly sculpt?
Good question.
I do paint. I don't get to paint minis very much, unfortunately. But I have won 2 selfies at ReaperCon for painting and sculpting. So I do paint a little bit, but not as much as I'd like to.
I know the feeling.
It's so hard because it takes me so much longer to paint it. And I just think like, well, you know, in the day that it would take me to paint this, I could have half of another figure already done. I could be just making new figures.
And that's when you look at it this way. That's why it's like we have all three of you, the sculptor, the painter, the crafter, all together, because everyone is like more efficient in doing, you know, for that part of getting it to the tabletop. And that's what's great is that you got Mike, you got Bill who can paint them up, Christine, which is awesome.
Christine, though, I gotta ask you. And I know I've asked you this before, but what do you enjoy more? Because you're such an incredible illustrator, and the worlds and the characters that you bring to life through your illustrations, but you do it through Zbrush as well. What do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy illustrating more or sculpting on Zbrush?
I think that answer has changed over the years. I think I used to enjoy drawing it more, and I still think by drawing. I still have to think through the character design by drawing it, but it is so much more satisfying to see it, quote unquote, real. Like when you made it a whole 3D thing and it exists as a real object in 3D space, that is the most satisfying.
Right on. That's a good answer. I can feel that because you get to turn your 2D artwork around and look at it through every angle and at every angle, and you could pose it to wherever you want it and put that character. It essentially, you have it forever, but in any pose that you want.
Yes, exactly. And I think even more than that though, like being able to see, now I'm getting to see all these people who have my minis in their home, and I get to listen to them talk about like what games they're playing and what stories they have for them, and you know, their whole painting process with them and which ones were their favorites and why. And it's like, it's so incredible. I love it. I love
I was
every
gonna
second
say,
of it.
it's gotta make you feel incredible. It's gotta make you feel good knowing people posting up your minis and in their stories while they painted them, and you know what their favorite one is, especially like the artwork that's up right now, the leprechaun. There's been so many, I've seen that many posted so many times of people that have painted him. It's crazy. Not just myself, but you know, just a lot of other painters as well. And that's got to feel incredible.
Yeah, Rhonda. So Reaper commissioned Rhonda to paint the, you know, display version of the leprechaun for Reaper, since it was going to be their March mini of the month last
Yes.
year. Here, that's the first little sketch I did of him in the bottom left corner. But I had initially imagined him as one of 3 little leprechaun brothers that traveled as a group. And he was like the drunken partier, the one that makes all the distractions and causes the commotion. And then he's got one brother that's the brains and the other that's the brawn, and they're like a team. But Ron was like, I think we're only gonna really be able to do one. And he's like, I really think it's gonna be that one.
And there it is.
So I think he made a great choice. I think he was probably the strongest design of the 3, and the way Rhonda painted him was just perfection. And then Mike painted him too, and then I was like, wow, you did it great too. Rhonda asked me what colors I wanted it, which is so weird. Sometimes like you already have the colors in mind when you're sculpting it, right? Like what it would look like in real life.
Right.
And then you see someone else paint it, and you're either like, whoa, I totally didn't think of that at all. Or you're like, that's exactly what I had in my head the whole time.
It's
It's
a
a lot
really
of fun
cool
to
piece. I love the foaming mug. I mean, that's just, and hanging on that pot of gold and drinking. So what's more iconic than that on a leprechaun?
I love it, like goofy, drunken, like.
As our buddy Tom would say, Bill, with a shit-eating grin on.
Yeah.
Is that it's a leprechaun. It's not a Grugacher brownie, Valendar. It's a leprechaun, right? The minifigure says Finn Greenwell Leprechaun. That's the mini name there. So
No, I think you were talking about the one in the art. There was the furry creature.
On the right. Yes. Yes. Okay. With the broom. What? Yes.
Oh,
Christine.
So that was my idea for a brownie, which is another fey creature that lives in your house, and they do your chores for you as long as you don't piss them off. But yeah, as long as you keep them happy, they like, you know, fold your mismatched socks, or they like finish sweeping the floor for you while you're asleep and stuff.
Man, could I use a brownie?
Yeah, I know, right? So that was my idea for a brownie, but Ron said that was not at all what he thought a brownie would look like.
See, everyone has in their head the brownies from Willow, right? I mean, it's just like when you think of brownie.
I've never seen Willow.
Oh my gosh! You got to see
I think
Willow.
that was my problem. I think is that everyone had a different frame of reference than I did.
Yes, you have to see Willow. You should. You and her husband. It's a very entertaining movie. It is, and it's entertaining. And Val Kilmer in his prime there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and Bill would say Joanne Wally and her.
And Joanne Wally.
So yeah, I beat you to it. So yes, great movie. So here's another great mini that I'd love to discuss. How the concept came up for the Cheshire Cat.
Yes. Okay, so this is a fun one. My sister loves Alice in Wonderland. She collects all things Alice in Wonderland. And for her birthday, I thought it would be cool to make like D&D versions of all of the characters, the main characters from Alice in Wonderland, and put together this whole little campaign for her. And my first iterations of those characters were in clay, and they are awful. Absolutely awful. But when I got some Zbrush skills under my belt, I re-tackled the project, and this is my interpretation of the Cheshire Cat as sort of like a Rakshasa type of
Exactly.
character. Yeah.
There is.
That's a great miniature, and it was a fun one to paint too.
Fun to paint. So much fun to paint.
We have both of them. This is Mike's paint job.
That's Mike's Patreon version.
Yep, and she has that down at her house now. She owns.
I do.
Yep.
It's on my shelf in my art studio.
So Rakshasa is my favorite D&D monster of all time, because they have the ESP, which is almost doesn't fail. They can change into anyone, and they are almost impossible to kill. So I had Stella Luna and her crew. This is only about a month and a half ago, playing a game, and I'm like, I can't do this against my players for 41 years. You know, they know, but they're not going to know anything about this Rakshasa. So Bill had already painted this. Right, and this is Bill's version of Rakshasa. Yes. So I'm like, and it's a she, and it's her name's. They call her the mistress, and so they don't know what they're chasing this whole time. They get to the very end, and they're peppered. Nothing's happening to this character. Nothing's working, and then so finally the audience is like, "Bless crossbow bolt," you know, and that was a fun adventure. But love the Rakshasa, and this is great because when you think of Rakshasas. Their natural form tends to be cats, right? It tends to be, tigers, lions. So this is perfect figure for that. So
with the backwards hands, though, which actually
Yep.
I did a male
Yep.
and a female Rakshasa for Bones, his last Bones.
Oh, okay.
And they are part of the fan favorites expansion, I believe.
Which is
But
part.
it's a very different style than this
Okay.
one. This one is much more like my personal style, which is, I guess, more Disney-ish, more cartoony.
And I love it. He was so much fun to paint. That face is a blast.
Oh, it has great character to the face.
Yep.
Yeah, he was super fun. I wanted to have that, iconic Cheshire grin.
Is the fan favorites part of the core set, or is that a separate set?
No,
It's a separate expansion.
Okay, so we didn't. But we're gonna have to go back and probably reorder some stuff. We need more stone walls and things, so maybe we'll have to put in.
Yeah, I need more stuff to paint.
That Rakshasa is.
This
Yep.
guy had posted on the Reaper Facebook group. He was like, "I have this mini, but the hands are like backwards, but I don't see any seams or anything. Is this just like a mouth?"
Oh, I did see that post. Yeah.
Or like, that's how it's supposed to be. And I was like, that is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Rakshasa have backwards
hands. Yeah.
But when me and Ron were talking about that, he was like, some people are not going to want the hands to be backwards because it's just too weird. And so we made sure that the hands stayed away from the body, and we gave it like gauntlets so that you had an easy break point. And then we made the hands basically like reversible. Like you could put the right one on the left one and it would work out okay.
Yeah, and they're Rakshasa from Indian lore, which is fantastic. And I said my first experience with Rakshasa was I'm 7 years old, and that Darren McGavin, that TV show The Night Stalker comes on, and that scared the crap out of me. That Rakshasa in that one, was you're a little kid, and you're like it's eating people,
Right, yeah.
like oh my god, and that's where really fantastic. So a couple others that you have available, and I've linked it multiple times, but I'm going to link it again. And this is your partner site, which is let me go right here, Rumbeard, right? Correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
from the trading company, they have exclusive rights to print my personal line of minis.
Okay.
So we do offer them on my mini factory that you can print at home, but for physical copies and resin prints, right now, Grumpy Trading Company is the only printer
Okay.
that we work with.
So this is your Amazon.
Yeah, she's
Zulu.
like
I'm sorry, Zulu. Yeah, Zulu.
Zulu Warrior. Yeah, she. The funny story. This is another one that I had started in clay initially, and I was so proud of her. I did such a great job on this anatomy, and I went to go bake it, and I boiled it from the inside out.
Oh.
It was completely destroyed.
It wasn't dry.
It was like black and bubbling,
We
and
spent like
like
2 months on that.
it was awful. I
Oh my
spent
gosh, 2 months? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I spent so long on that figure, and when I destroyed it like that, I was just so heartbroken. I couldn't even try to redo it. I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this project. I can't do it. So that was another one I went back to after getting started in Zbrush, and I was like, maybe I can resurrect that one figure I was trying to do. And so this was the result of that. And
I have it.
I like how she came out. I think the hair was so much fun to do.
I was gonna say, there's Mike's. Yeah.
I was looking at all these pictures of these girls with this gorgeous, like natural curly hair, and I was like, you don't see very many minis with hair like this, but it's so captivating. Like, if you ever see a girl like that walking down the street, you're just like, wow, that's so cool. It's so beautiful. So yeah, that was my fierce Zulu warrior resurrected from the ashes, quite literally.
Yeah, it's a fantastic and just like I said, the detail level on it is awesome. So Mike, did you enjoy painting that one too?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a challenge too because the hair and the pose and everything, but she was a lot of fun and came out good. I was happy with the way she came out.
I know of this one as well on the site, and that's Gabby, your gnome.
I think I even have that one.
Oh,
right
you
here.
do? Okay,
You
we do have
do,
that.
yeah.
Awesome. Good to see, Bill. Fantastic. Get that one.
Gabby the scrappy gnome.
Yeah.
Oh, and look, and I might even have that one right here.
Yeah,
too.
all right, we do. Thanks. Thank you, Mike, for getting them to us. So there you go, Bill. More stuff you got to paint.
That's another
On the list.
one that Christine has in her home that I painted for them.
Yes.
Is this yours, Mike? Is this one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, that's the one right there.
And that's a small mini.
Very tiny mini.
So what's same story for Gabby? Gabby was another one of your venturing group, or?
She was with my best friend, Gabby, who lives in Germany.
Oh.
She's like 5'0". She's like so tiny. And her husband is like 6'1", so they make a funny pair. But she's so feisty, like she's just like ready to defend anyone at any time. She was taking these jujitsu classes and martial arts classes, and I don't know, she's just so feisty, and I thought it would make a really fun mini to make this little itty bitty girl that was just ready to kick butt.
And that's it with gnomes. Gnomes, unlike halflings, gnomes have a kick butt streak in them, I think, a little bit more than the halflings do. So I guess it's campaign dependent for the most part. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of gnomes in our game. How many gnome females do we have, Bill? 2? Mark had one.
Mark had one.
Yeah. I think we got about out of 2,000 characters. We got a lot of gnomes. We do have a lot of gnomes. But
Mostly deep gnomes.
yeah, mostly deep gnomes.
Gnomes can be so difficult because when you start getting into that realm of like the shorter characters, I did like a halfling for Reaper, and I've done a gnome and now a dwarf. And when you start getting into that realm, it's like, how do you differentiate the race while still adding accounting for some variability per character, right? But still make
Yeah.
it like recognizably a halfling as opposed to a gnome. And those little nuances, I think you just have to start developing your own aesthetic for what that race looks like in your world, in your mind.
It is. So I know. Are your plans to put more out this way in your sculpts? Or are you so busy with commission work from all these companies that you're prioritizing that now?
They do keep me pretty busy, but we have we are planning on expanding our own personal line, and we've been designing sets of like
Oh.
5 to 6 minis per set that we're gonna release. Maybe eventually move to Patreon. We don't have that set up yet, or anytime soon, but we might end up working on that platform. We'll see how it goes. We have 2 sets completed and a couple more in the works already, but I want to get a backlog sort of developed before we start doing monthly releases.
Well, I know we would immediately Patreon that. I know, so there you go. Just note that it would, we don't Patreon a lot of people, right? Right, Bill? We we support. We try and support the community.
Anna, and I Patreon Mike.
Yeah, and I Patreon Carlos and Alyssa Faden.
Traction.
Yeah.
Definitely get traction in this community, Christine.
Yeah, it would be. I'm telling. So, Christine, in a long-term process, I imagine most of our community here would Patreon you, and that's a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So just note that if you're thinking
The
about
question
that.
that I actually have on that front, if they can hear me.
Sure. Yes. And you can come around and get in the picture if you'd like. Seriously, you can
For
come.
your community.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
What's-
okay. No, I don't need to do that.
What?
But Christy's much better to look at than me.
What was the question? I'm sorry. Go for it.
But the question I actually have for the community on that, it's an idea we've been kicking around, is what do the people think about the idea of a smaller Patreon? Since time is so critical right now, especially now that Phone 6 has been announced and all of this other stuff, typical Patreons are a large number of models, and they're $10 to $20 a month for a Patreon. What do people think about the idea of a Patreon that is a smaller number, where it's 1 or 2 minis, but a $2 or $3 a month subscription, just so people know that we're still doing something and they can be part of it, and just a smaller thing? Is that a thing people would bother with, that they would be interested in? Or
I would absolutely.
Yeah, everyone in chat, a lot of people in chat are saying yes. Now, note this, and Anna's on, and Anna's normally on with me. This is 2 weeks in a row. I don't know if that's happened in the last year and a half, 2 years. Anna Meyer's normally on as a co-host, but with this one, she's watching. So Anna has a Patreon for her maps, which is $5 a month, and that's it. Right now.
Gamescape 3D is $3.50 a month.
Gamescape 3D, Jeremy, one of our great sponsors, $3.50 a month. He puts out unbelievable content for $3.50 a month.
Yeah,
I think you were right if you were to do that, all I think the Patreon community wants to know is that, they understand people get busy, but they just want to know that the content will be coming. That's all they want to know. And I think, gosh, I don't want to
that's such a big deal, right? Like the accountability component of it. I would just be devastated if I had promised somebody something and I couldn't deliver it. I would hate that, which is why we've held off for so long on doing that platform, because I don't want to commit to being able to do that and then say like, well, for the next 3 months, Reaper has me booked 10 hours a day, so sorry. I don't want to have to do that,
No,
yeah, that's why if you have your book already planned out, and you have 10 or 15 minis set to go, and you release 2 or 3 a month. That way, you're already covered,
Right.
and it gives you some room and to get stuff done, even if at a slower rate. You can still keep pace for a year and change, and that's
and it's. And Anna will probably back me up on this. It is and this is I'm not tooting my own horn. This is a great way to communicate with the community that we have coming on a show, talking about things like when Jeremy from Gamescape came on a little while ago. I guarantee you that just so that people know, hey, I'm doing this. I have this planned. I have these sets planned. Communication. That's it. I know the worst thing people hate is a Patreon. They have no idea what's going on in the Patreon or what's going to happen month to month. If you communicate with the people who are kind enough to join your Patreon, I think it will be no problem. Am I correct there, Mike?
Yeah.
That's
no
it.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot say enough positive things about the mini community in general. Like, I've met just so many amazing, kind, genuine, wonderful people, and they all support each other. There's none of this like super competitiveness or vile social media outrage about stuff. Like, people are just really supportive of each other, and I love it.
And that is the key, I think, to growing the community and to keeping it. We have all sorts. We have, Anna the map makers. We have the streamers. We have bloggers. We have crafters. There's that's the one thing this community has crossed over with the Reaper community in crafting, and that's a huge thing with Nightheart Gaming and us and Blue Box and Mike and Jacob Jansen and even Jimmy the Brush and everyone, and it's a good thing, and it's good to see. And this would be another connection, for a sculptor to join that community. It would be, I'm telling you, and then from there it branches out all over. So.
Because I'll tell you, one of the things I look forward to, and we don't really see them. Reaper used to have their on their webpage had the greens. You'd see a sculpting process. That stuff as a painter, I get excited by that. Like, oh, this is what it's going to look like. You can see it coming together. I know I follow you on Facebook, so I kind of saw Scorn. It was coming together, bits and pieces, and it was like, this is great. And that's the fun stuff that see the process. Not that I'm an artist by any stretch of the imagination compared to what you do sculpting and Mike does painting, but to see the process and stuff, that I find that stuff exciting, and that's the kind of stuff that can go on Patreon, and it's, hey, you're just posting pictures,
right? Yeah,
and it's great, especially if you combine that with a Discord too. Because there's a couple other Patreons I do that they're for crafting Patreons, and they do a lot of discussion on Discord. Yeah. And the guy gets ideas on stuff to do and say, hey, community projects. The Overboard was, one with Mike. That was a community-driven project, and the community is great. So
I think Twitch and Discord both have added a lot of dimensions.
There he is.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that big on Instagram, Mike. The big blow up of the eyeball you put out. That was good.
That was cool. I love the one. I saw this one with like
the candy corn teeth.
Candy corn.
Yeah.
It was perfection. I loved it. So good.
Really great, unique personalities out there to think of up some wonderful stuff. So I put up some Brinewind pics as well. Are these last year's?
Powder Monkey.
Yes, I love that one. This year or last year?
Last year.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 2 years ago now.
Okay.
But it's in this Brinewind expansion for this Kickstarter.
Okay. I have some other ones here too, and we have this one here.
Yes, a female captain.
Yeah, that's a great miniature. Such a really cool character.
Both of those are based on Izzy Collier's artwork.
Okay. Note the scar on her face. Whoops. Mike zonked off, but he'll probably be back on there. Yes, wonderful scarring there. And then we have this one.
Yeah, the boat mop.
Yeah.
I love the drippy mop. Actually, Izzy had sent me this like gesture sketch. Like, it had no details, no face, no nothing. It was just sort of like this squiggly pose stance. And I was like, that's perfect. That's all I need. Like, you communicated everything in just that little squiggle of a pose. and I just took it from there.
Yeah, it's definitely so Bill, what is the piece he has around his belt? What weapon is that? Or is that
I
It's
don't
a
think it's a
pin.
weapon, but it looks like a belaying pin.
Yeah, it's a belaying pin. It's to hold the ropes that you tie.
See, you just educated me. I didn't know that.
I didn't either. I had to ask Izzy.
Thank you, everyone. I did
Yeah,
not.
if you look at a ship along the railings, the poles that stick up, so they'll have holes so they drop through that we can tie the rope above and below. Easier way to make a knot. And it's a ready club when you need one.
It could be a weapon, right? You just pop it out and hit somebody with
Yeah,
it.
absolutely, absolutely. I have to get out more, Patrick. Now, I'm an inside kind of guy here.
Brush up on your sea lore.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I need to. So we have this. I think is your sneak peek as well. Everything cool, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Just had to use the restroom.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. There you go.
Yeah, so this is going to be our first set that I'm releasing under my company.
Oh, there we go.
And it's my take on the Neverland Pirates. And these
I
will
like
actually these will be available at ReaperCon at the Rum Beer Trading Company booth. They have a booth this year, and you'll be able to pick up the whole set there.
That's the orange and yellow one, Mike, right?
Yeah, right
Yep,
here. It's
that's
this
a
one.
painted version. I know you can't really see. Yeah, there you go.
I got it in process. Yep, I got it in process. So awesome. So ReaperCon.
Oh, that's awesome. I wish I could be a ReaperCon
That's
this
a
year.
work in progress version. He's been updated since then.
Oh, it has been. Okay, that was Mike. So Mike, you got a unique one. You got a work in progress one. That's pretty interesting. Very, very cool.
Yeah, Mike he was doing our test prints for us, and making sure that everything was structurally sound, and so he printed that one out, and he was like, it came out great, and started painting it on stream.
Is
So you're going to do the crocodile.
I thought about it.
Here's my question. The little captain, is he a gnome?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a gnome.
Okay.
He's a little-
Awesome. Very, very cool.
Those are great.
He looks kind of weird if you put her next to Gabby, like gnome wise, but here's the one that I have finished right now, and it comes with like a little nameplate on the textured base.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
Excellent. So they're available at ReaperCon. If you're not going to ReaperCon, how would one get these afterwards?
This is
that's the big boatswain bill. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun one to paint.
Yeah.
That
Definitely.
one was a request by my husband. He was like, I want a big guy that's just like swinging an anchor. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, Brightman line's cool, and it is. There was a lack of pirate miniatures out there until the Brightman stuff came out with, and Reaper hit a home run by doing that. That was a good.
I think I messed up my camera.
That's okay. You can if you go like this and then like this, you should be okay.
If people, to answer that question.
There you go.
There it goes.
Yeah, go for it. Yes,
To
please.
answer that question about if people want to get it outside of ReaperCon.
Yes.
Rumbeard Trading Company has a website, which Christy can get you the link for that.
Yeah, I'll
They
put
will
it up
rent
right now.
To order.
Yeah, he has the link for it.
Yeah,
and
boom.
They
What's up?
they will be offering printed sets
Okay.
on their website after ReaperCon.
What about STLs? Is this ever not available in STL or available only in finished mini?
It will only be available as a finished mini.
Okay.
And we're still in talks about STLs. We'll see about
Okay. Good to know. So here comes the $1 million question.
We are. They will be available as STLs eventually.
Eventually, yes.
In what format? We don't know. Maybe Patreon or My Mini Factory or something.
Hey, it's understandable because when you have a wonderful and fantastic resource and ability, you got to negotiate properly. I understand. Take the time and make sure that it works out. However, but hopefully we gave you some advice on the Patreon to get you going on that, because I know one thing about this community, as you saw from all the subs and all the cheers and all, it's a generous community, and they really appreciate it when you contribute to them, they contribute back, and that's what's so wonderful about it. And I think we're all better off for all getting us all together. So here's my $1 million question. Probably say Mike or Bill or I wanted to commission a miniature. Is that a possibility? And you don't have to go through any cost or anything, but what would that process entail?
Yeah, so I do get private commissions. Usually we go over what the project is, like what it is that you're wanting. And then we've discussed timelines, because if you're more flexible with timelines, then I can change the price based on that, because I can sort of prioritize it among my other work. And then we go over whether I need to do the concept art, or the concept art would be provided by you or someone else that you've commissioned to do the artwork for it. And then from there, I would do the original block out phase, and I would share that with you and make sure that we're all on the same page and everything is going the right direction. I would send whip shots as I go and make sure we're still capturing what you wanted with it. And then, yeah, 2 days, sometimes 3 days, and you would have the final STL. I don't offer physical models for private commissions. I do know several people like Rumbeard Trading Company who I very much trust for doing physical prints, and I direct people that way if they don't want to print it out themselves, they want to have it professionally done. There's people who do that much better than I do, so
okay.
I would pass that along. But
well, and Mike Disney too. He does.
Yeah, obviously Mike Disney.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Well, if you're not looking at Jay and I, you can't see the wheels are turning.
Yes, because with 2,000 characters in our campaign,
Ow.
yeah.
Well, who wouldn't want to have an original miniature if you can do it? Especially with being a streamer.
Could you imagine how she would make Holly look, Jay?
Yes, but Mike,
we have perfection with Holly now that you did.
Yes,
I understand.
There's other baddies, and let me see if I can. I don't have it right at the tip of my fingers, but I bet you I could pull this up so that Christine can see this. Holly, let me see, where is it? Gabbin 107. That long ago, huh? It's in that one. So let me see. I'll see if I can pull this up. So for virtual Greyhawk Con last year, we had, no, it's not showing. We had Mike commission a Reaper miniature.
Show those lizard insect things that you did for private commission.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, it's okay. He was just saying that I had done a couple like lizardy alien characters for a private commission, which would be a good example, but I don't have them.
Yeah, and we don't want to do it. We don't want to do a share screen through this because
Twitch will crash.
It'll blow up Twitch. And let me see if I have. Okay, now I only have Holly modded. Holly, darn. Yep, I don't have it. I don't have it on right here, Mike. I apologize. It's somewhere. That's all right. So this is good to show, though. This is good to show. These are Mike. So this is Holly pre-printed painted before I send it out. Bill has modded it, but there's the Falcon miniature that Mike has painted for us, which we did for our fundraiser in 20. My gosh, what year was that? 2020.
2019.
2019, yes. That was our first. 2019 was the Falcon on the right in their scarn. So there's and Holly is painted in her entirety, and she's awesome. And she made an appearance in an adventure that Mike ran. She is the head of the Dark Brotherhood, the evil organization in my campaign. So yes, and she's especially priestess of Leviator, the Maiden of Pain.
And
Yes.
somehow Mike was able to paint the eyes on that miniature
Yeah, yeah.
because that face is tiny.
Yeah, and that scourge is not meant to be there. That's taken from another Reaper miniature.
Yeah, that was off of Reaper Succubus.
Yeah, so Reaper.
Wow.
Yeah. So we
I believe
combined.
it. Mike painted Gabby the gnome, and I thought that might be impossible, but he did a great job.
It's amazing that you get when you get a lot of yeah, look at that. So Carlos, the Hyena King. Yeah, Carlos. I mean, there's the options are limitless for us streamers and us D&Ders, and Carlos has his own publishing company that I've written for. My Heart and Holes adventure. So there's all sorts of ways now to connect in miniatures into what we're all doing, which is really cool to have because Reaper does great work. And Bill customizes them. Mike paints them and Bill customizes them. But sometimes you want that extra flair of a custom from scratch miniature, and that's great to know that option is out there, and exciting.
I usually tell people that depending on what you're looking for, you may not want to get a custom sculpt. It can be quite pricey at the end of the day, especially if you don't have concept art or you need it like next week,
Sure.
It can be a pricey endeavor. Not to say that no one should do it, but I think if you're just looking for like, I want a big baddie that's like this particular type of monster, well, there's probably cheaper and easier ways to find that than to custom commission it. But yeah, I think people who play in games similar to yours, where they've been the same character for a really long time and they've become really attached to a particular character, I think it can be really special to have your own sort of immortalization of the way you envision them.
I can see Bill's head's churning right now, thinking of which one we would attempt to do. I mean, because I have a feeling, that we would love to get something super iconic to our campaign, and there's a lot of options to go. So I know we'll be talking, and a good thing about with our time frame is we've been playing for 41 years. We can wait a while, right?
Yeah.
Patience
is a virtue. So does the audience have any other questions for Christine or Mike or Bill as we go here? Please throw us out as we're running on, getting close to time here. If you have any questions.
This went by fast tonight.
Because it was It's been wonderful, right? It's been a fantastic show.
I actually have a question for you,
please.
Bill. What is your favorite material for crafting terrain and stuff? I know I've talked to Bob Rodolphe a little bit because he does a lot of terrain, and he's always showing me new materials with like plastic card and different types of cork and like all this stuff that he just has like a collection of materials that I find fascinating. What do you work with?
Ooh, man, there's so many because it really depends on what I'm doing. I mean, probably the biggest one that is MDF board. You can get it for bases. Then it's going to be XPS foam. Your solid foam house insulation. I'll use expanding foam. I'll use cork. Anything I can scrounge in the backyard, in the shed, at the dollar store. I'll use rock. Yeah, I mean, I use a lot of plaster of Paris. Railroading supplies. Matter of fact, there's scarn on the top of the hill.
That's why I was like, I got to show this craft. So, Bill, why don't you explain to Christine what this craft is made out of? Because you got scarn on top, because that's the scarn's ancestors' Abet location.
Well, that one's made out of a lot.
Yeah.
The base is MDF foam or MDF board. The hill is made of XPS foam. On top of that, the trees are all sagebrush with sea foam and flocking. The stones, the big stone pieces are all plaster of Paris. After that, it's layers of grout and gravel, and the stone wall itself is actually, I got it at the dollar bin at a railroad store. the fence at the end of the railroad track was I did a moving motorized windmill a couple years ago, and it was quite too big. So that's a clipping off the vane off the windmill. So I never throw anything away. Bits and pieces, you save them and hold on to them because you're going to use them somewhere.
I think all crafters sort of have that quality. I used to do a lot of like art books, like collage books and multimedia books.
From a different angle.
I made my own paper and I would sew the books together and then I'd do all kinds of like decoupage in it. But yeah, then you start noticing all these things that you could put in it, like, oh, this piece of fabric that ripped, or this thread tie that almost got lost. So you just sort of like hoard all these tiny little treasures that aren't treasures, so you can use them for stuff later.
So we may have to chain Bill to a table and do and trade one of these pieces for you guys in return or something. Because Bill, this piece is so impressive because I know you, like, if you look at the contours of the wall of the collapse area over here, I mean, that is just so, it's just so nice.
Beautiful, yeah. That's a great piece.
It's a nice piece, and had to show that off. Here, I want to show one other one, and this is the one on the table as well, if we have a minute here, and that is the Tree of Life. And that is this. Okay, so this piece is on the table.
Wow.
Now, the great thing is that is the top of this ancient shrine from Infinite Dimension Games only. And Bill, why don't you take it from there as what you did on this? This is one of our sponsors as well. Infinite Dimension.
Yeah, well, we have a hybrid druid who's part of our campaign that's kind of a friend to characters in the wildlands. And we were using... a terrible tree as her tree, and I'm like, well, I got to come up with something better than that. So it's I just took the top half of the shrine. The canopy is stuffing from a pillow that's just stretched across it, and I sprayed it with spray adhesive, and just layers and layers of flocking on it. And the base is the same thing. It's an XPS. Foam base and plaster of Paris rock and a lot of flocking and different grasses.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and it's it sat over on the wall too long. I'm like, I got to use this, and that's like I had a block on an adventure to run, and I said, Bill, what are we gonna do? This was last Monday or whatever, and then I'm like running, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got an idea. And that's when the Tree of Life scenario came out. So we try and when Bill makes terrain, we try and utilize it right away, as much as possible in the new stuff. And you can see there's a lot of other 3D prints all around here and some custom craft stuff. And,
there's a couple Reaper pieces right there in the bottom. The stairwell, scroll back a little bit.
Yeah.
Right there on the bottom left.
I got better
That's
picks.
A Bones 5 terrain piece.
Here we go. I got picks that are done up right now as we speak for that. Let me get for this week. Let me go to 98020.
I mean this in the best possible way, but that Tree of Life reminds me of the giant tree that Mr. Rogers would take out when he would put the pretend together.
That's awesome.
Like burned into my brain. It was like it's like the big tree.
So this is another Reaper piece that just came out, right? Yeah, there you go. It's a blow.
Both of those, yeah. The broken doorway and the steps, yeah.
And right in front, fighting is one of the most popular characters in the campaign, Gilthanus Markham, right, Bill?
Oh yeah, he's great.
So yes, and and with that, here's another Reaper piece that's out now. One more here. This is the as you can see, there is on the left is the charnel pit from Bones 5, and also the golem. The golem's brand new too, right, Bill? On that from
that's brand new. That's Bones 5.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the Bones version of it.
Yeah.
Are those ruins from the vampire encounter?
The charnel.
Those are the demonic ones. That's the charnel pit. And then the ruins are the part of the vampire set, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, we bought all the terrain encounter pieces just because they're such nice pieces to add to the table.
Yeah, that was so fun. Ron had contacted me and was like, "Would you like to do a collaboration piece with Bob Rodolphe?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? You just
Yeah.
made my whole year. Yes. What do you want? Anything, I'll do it." And he was like, "Well, Bob got me these terrain pieces, which are really cool, but I need some characters to go with them. Do you want to sculpt some vampires?" And I was like, "I am on it."
Oh,
Let's
they're your
do it.
vampires.
I had the
Oh,
vampires are behind me. I got the terrain pieces painted, but now I'm going back and trying to get the miniatures done for them.
there's an outside, yeah, there's a large outside pic of that last fight that happened
That
outside
terrain
next
is so
Thursday.
gorgeous. The stairs and the archways, just absolutely beautiful.
And what we try and do is incorporate all of our sponsors together and into a scene to give it a true visual experience of our table, and it's a fun thing. So I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say if you and your husband want to play in a game sometime with Mike and Bill, I can arrange that very easily. Right, Mike?
Oh, that would
Get a
be
nice game.
that would be incredible. You
Yeah.
guys should come and play D&D with
Yeah.
us.
Oh, that
Yes.
would be fun.
Awesome, fantastic. So we had a couple
Great.
quick. We had a couple.
I don't know if you got it.
I'm sorry.
What, honey?
Oh, I'm on delay, so if he's, I was saying, I don't know if you got it. Christy sent you a picture of one of the whip shots.
Is it in Discord?
Yes.
Okay, give me a sec. Okay,
Yes. From
all right,
her-
I'm gonna risk. I'm
the
gonna risk.
custom order that she did.
I'm gonna risk crashing the stream here. Hold on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this off of Discord. I usually have Discord on my laptop as this is going, but I'm gonna pull this off. If we crash, we will be right back on. Okay, but please give me.
Oh,
Yeah, it's okay. Let's risk it. Save image as. Give me 1 second, and I will. All right, it's in the right folder. Boom.
so while
Okay.
you're saving all of that,
We
this is a custom
we were
order
talking
she
about
did.
private commissions. This is a private commission. The guy said that he used to play this tabletop game like years and years and years ago, and they never made any minis for it, but he absolutely loved the lore of the alien species, and he wanted
There we go.
representations of these two different species that he could use on his table. I was like, okay, well, obviously I can't make like that particular species, right? It's all copyright.
Yeah, and that's where we. Yeah, I'm assuming you got to be careful on that. Yeah, well, that's.
But
that is
but I
cool.
can make my interpretation of what I think of them, and so we talked
Those
about
are cool.
like what he liked about their races, and we took it a kind of a different direction than the original, but I think it still stays true to the spirit of them. He was super happy with them, but it was a little bit of a different thing out of my normal wheelhouse, which I think is fun for private commissions. You get to just like do these weird one-off projects you never would have done otherwise.
So here's a couple quick questions for you from the audience. Well, the paint question is Mike and Bill. Can you answer that? What kind of paint you use? I know you both use Reaper, but there may be some other ones.
I use Reaper, scale 75, in Monument. Sorry, but Reaper mainly Reaper.
Yeah, I mean, I use mostly Reaper. I still do like some of Citadel's washes because they're pre-mixed and easy to go on small minis. And on terrain, I'll use a mix of craft paints just because it's not economical to use
Right.
Reaper paint on terrain.
Yeah. Christine, two quick questions for you. Any monsters you feel are missing in Sculpt, and is there a texture type of detail that makes you shudder when you need to sculpt it on a figure?
Yes. There's as far as like what monsters haven't been done, I think there's a lot of things I would want to do. Not that there aren't representations of them already out there that exist, but there are things that I would like to do my own personal way.
Okay.
I'm enamored with all things fairy tale and fae, so there's a lot of fae type forest creatures I would love to do my own way. Satyrs and centaurs and fairies and sprites and stuff. That would be really fun.
Okay. texture.
And dragons. I got to do the gem dragon for Reaper, which was, oh my gosh, it was so intimidating, but it was such a rewarding piece. I still love that piece.
Yeah,
I have it here. It's in the to-do list.
Yes. I just saw a painted version on Facebook yesterday, and I was like blown away. I was like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!"
Was that the one where the guy painted it semi-real and left part of it transparent? That one?
No, it was no. He painted it like red crystals and purple skin, but the base was like blues and greens. It was a really cool contrast.
Yeah, I saw that one too.
I did see that one.
Really fantastic.
As far as like textures that make me shudder, I don't do gore stuff very well.
Okay.
I recently was asked to do like a dead creature. Like we had this hunter type character, and he needed to have this dead creature with him, and we needed some sort of blood and guts type texture, and I was just like, oh, I can't do this. It's so gross. I was like having to look up reference images, and I'm like, look what you've done to me. Look what you've made me Google today. This is awful.
Well, hey, you have your strong points, and if gore's not into it, I think the stuff. The things you were showing is fantastic, and I think everyone is excited to see more from you. I know I am, and I know your relationship with Mike is fantastic. And Mike, Bill and I are really both a little upset that I was going to go to ReaperCon this year, but then my family vacation's the same exact time, and I want to stay married, so I don't want to, I don't want to get thrown out of the house by going to ReaperCon, not going down the shore.
Family vacation and ReaperCon is the perfect mix.
Take your wife.
Yeah, my wife and son.
There's that picture of the gem dragon. I just posted it in chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's posted in chat. Everyone, click on that, please, to see that gem dragon. That is unbelievable. Wow, purplish amethyst. Oh my gosh. That is unbelievable.
All the highlights and everything. I was just like so blown away.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
Those look like the gems from the gem tutorial I did on my Patreon, to be honest with you.
I think somebody's been watching Mike Disney.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It looks great, yeah.
So what?
The ReaperCon hotel is like so lush. It's so great. They have like a giant botanical waterfall display in the lobby, and like the rooms are gorgeous.
Are you guys going, Christy?
Of course we're going. Are you kidding?
Well, I'll see you there.
Great to see you, darling.
I gotta give you a hug.
Oh yeah.
Unless I walk, I'm not going. And it's far walk from Jersey.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, I already gave Michael Collins the I'm sorry deal and got, So if everyone doesn't know, ReaperCon is that weekend of Labor Day. And also, Reaper is one of our official sponsors for Virtual Greyout Con, first weekend in October. Troller Games, Frog God Games, and Reaper are our main sponsors for that. I just linked that up. So Reaper, they always step up. Whenever we ask for anything for a fundraiser or for sponsorship, they are always there. It's wonderful, wonderful company, wonderful people. Can't say enough about Reaper. Please, if you ever do anything.
One of the best companies I've ever had the privilege of interacting with in any way, shape, or form. They are fantastic people.
Fantastic to hear. We love them to death. I put up my reference link. It's always good to click on that to keep the sponsorship things going. So, Christine, we'll do some shout outs now. This was. I want everyone to say, what do you think? This is one of our best Gabbins of the year. I mean, this is a lot of fun. Mike, this went by so fast.
So fast. I told you.
Yeah. So fast, and thank you very much. So why don't we do some quick shout outs, and we'll do the giveaway, and we'll find someone to raid into. And I know we're going to have Christine and I'm sorry, is your husband's name Ron? What's your husband's name? Kyle. Sorry, Kyle. I'm thinking Ron Hawkins on the brain here, right?
He's my work husband, right?
So we will have Christine and Kyle and Mike and Taryn all together in an adventure in the near future. How's that sound? And and with Bill, we will get that going. Definitely have a real. We'll continue the adventures of Scarn, right? We'll
Yes.
continue the adventures of Scarn. He's having some fun there. Let me do some quickie shout outs here. Bill, what's going on?
I don't know. You tell me. What do you want
Oh
me to
my
paint
gosh!
Yeah, one job, Deb.
No, right now I'm trying to get caught up on the miniature parts of the terrain pieces I painted. So, just for instance, the troll from the troll bridge and his submerged counterpart.
Yes.
And that's what I'm working on now, trying to get those caught up and eventually start working on that.
Are you not entertained? All right, so that is the Infinite Dimensions arena.
Oh, Christy, someone was asking you if you wanted to do more grinding stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, I am always down to do more pirate stuff, but as of yet, I have not been asked to. So.
Well, I don't. I imagine that will be happening soon, whether it's through Reaper or someone else in the community. That would be fantastic and awesome. I mean, just we all appreciate the cute, attractive, and kind of whimsical pirate miniatures. I think they're fantastic, and it adds with the bright colors, right, Mike? Put them on the ship. Once we get that Reaper ship done, and we're talking about next year. I mean, Bill's overwhelmed.
I won't get to that till
the
holidays, maybe.
I'm so excited about all the different kinds of pirate crews in the Kickstarter because there's like the otter pirates and there's like cat folks pirates and my oxalotls and there's like the regular pirates, undead pirates, like any kind of pirates you want on that ship, you got it now.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of nice flavor.
Yeah, and it's good to have. It was missing. It was a niche that really needed to be filled because there was not enough figures out there. There was a couple WizKid figures and some.
Yeah, Reaper had some of the Ranzig pirates, undead pirates, but there wasn't a whole lot part of the Warlord sets. But there wasn't a lot of them.
Yep.
So this is they're jumped in with both feet. It looks great.
With Dark Depths, you have all the sea monsters you could ever want for your campaigns.
So this is what Bill's major task for by the first week in October is that we're going to have a grand melee of Altamira during GreyAlcon. It'll be the main event of GreyAlcon for RPG, and there is the Infinite Dimensions arena. We have printed out already, so we're just waiting for that. I'm looking forward to that. That'll be a fantastic event, and just love the 3D print on this. And they're a great company too.
Major piece of terrain.
That is, yes, absolutely
Huge.
Yes, but it's done very well, and we're looking forward to that. But let's be honest here, Bill grabs everything, grabbed all the Reaper Bones 5s, and then he did whatever. You painted whatever you wanted to. I didn't tell you what to paint, right? You're doing your own thing.
No, well, we talked about what we need, and that's, that way we have time to get it. And, we decided we get the terrain pieces done first to get those on the table.
Yeah.
And, the miniatures to go along with it will follow, but that was the priority. And then that's not nearly as big as the fort was, though, the ruins.
Right.
Just has more detail.
Yep. And
I'm guessing you're pretty familiar with an airbrush then.
No, I don't really do a lot with airbrush. Most of it's hand painted.
Oh wow.
I'll do stuff that's big. I'll do rattle can for base coats, but everything after that, I use grout to fill in all the joints, and then they have to wet it and set it and brush it, and it's a project.
Mike, what's going on with you?
Finishing the Overgourd, finishing up some commissions, and ReaperCon preparation.
Very cool. Very cool.
Are you doing any classes at ReaperCon, Mike?
Nope. I am vacation, having fun.
I'm so jealous.
Yep. It's going to be good times right there.
Bill, your wife would have let you go if you wanted to.
No, she wouldn't. Not this year.
Yeah, this year's would be.
I always think it's so funny. I see these posts that are like, "Don't tell my wife how much I spent on bones," and I'm like, "Don't tell my husband that I ordered a second set."
Nice.
No, we're like fighting over how much more we can afford to get because all of Reaper stuff, we just want all of it.
So,
So
Christine,
like, how much space can we really devote to miniatures in one house?
my entire basement. Let's put it to you that way. It's
I live
great.
in Texas. We don't have basements. It's
Oh. So a couple weeks ago, the three of us did a Reaper Bones 5 unboxing of what we got, and I got so much crap from the audience because they all went on and started ordering more Reaper stuff there, and they're like, "Look what you did!" Especially you, right, Troy Cannibal and Canadian Ancient Gamer and a couple of others. Yeah, you just went on and just started, ordering a bunch, which was I guess kind of the intention. But so Mike, thanks a lot for coming on, and thank you for playing in Tim's game yesterday. I hope you had fun.
I did. I had a
With the ever
blast.
mysterious Tim yesterday morning. That group will continue. Yeah.
Did you run out of arrows, Mike?
Nope, I didn't. I had 3 left by the end. I had started with 8 and had 3 left, and then I found 12 metal ones, so I don't have to use stone ones anymore. I actually got some metal ones.
Nice.
That's fantastic. Tim is a little nutty, as we all know, if he's still on. Yes, it's always my fault, Troy. Just ask my wife. Always my fault.
Tim is a sane man, and he is my friend.
That's because you just don't want. Yeah, I know why you're saying that. So,
Don't get me killed.
so Christine.
So Christine, what do you have? What do you have coming up next?
Yes, please.
Well, I just finished today the last figure for a Kickstarter that's going to release next week. I can't talk about it yet because they haven't announced it. But next week there'll be a big Kickstarter with lots of my figures in it, and I will definitely be sharing that on my Discord channel, on my Facebook. Obviously, getting the word out, letting people know when they do finally release it. So that was my big deadline today. I've got another piece for Dark Sword I'm starting on tomorrow, and then like Mike said, ReaperCon prep. I got so much stuff to prep for ReaperCon.
Are you teaching classes there?
I'm not currently set to teach a class, although Andy Pieper and I were discussing doing a sculpting for kids class.
Oh, that would be.
That's
awesome.
the one I need.
That would be awesome.
We were just chatting about it this afternoon. I don't know what we were gonna do. We were gonna do like polymer clay, and just teach some like basics of building an armature and putting together how to push the clay around and make little things that you can play with. I think there's like you said, the figures themselves that are available for kids to play are sort of at a minimum, and Reaper is trying to fill some of that gap. But I think gaming and the hobby and the craft side, they don't have to be limited to just adults. Like,
Oh yeah.
we're a big family that believes in play together, you know? Everything I do, my kids do. If I'm sculpting, my kids are a part of that. When we're playing D&D, my kids are right there. When we're doing board games, my kids are right there. So like, it teaches so many good skills, and I think, it doesn't have to be limited to adults. You can get kids started early.
Christine, you're absolutely correct. For example, on the 21st, right, Bill? 21st, I think it is.
21st? Yep.
21st, myself and the ever mysterious Tim and Bill and all of our sons, we have our kids game Saturday morning. We're going to play. Now, we don't stream that. We just play, and it's great to get that together with fathers and sons and have some fun.
That's so cool.
Yeah, definitely. We got a group that they're the gnarly men in Greyhawk City. It's a blast. Looking forward to doing that. As they get older.
So many great like problem solving skills and math skills and just
Social skills.
Yeah, like all those things are all just like part of the gameplay and don't have to be like school full legislative. They could just be part of your daily activities.
12, 11, and 10, I think, on that question. Is Sean 13, 11, and 10 are the ages. Still too young. We don't want to stream that and put any pressure on them. We just want to have fun with it. But, maybe in 3-4 years when they're teenagers or whatever, maybe we'll reconsider that. But, we do it once every couple months. So, all right. What's going on here? Boy, of course I'm multitasking. I just got something huge on Discord, and when I always prep for something for one time, it happens in another. And I'm going to explain that in a second, and I think you'll all be excited about this, so please be patient with me. So Wednesday night, this is the content this week. Only 3 streams this week. Oh, thank God, only 3, right? So Wednesday night, Monster Talk, Monster Manual 2. All right, we're going to grab out that old monster.
That's gonna be awesome.
Thank you, Mike. Myself, Anna Meyer, and Greyhawk Mike Bridges. We did the Fiend Folio a couple of weeks ago. It was a huge show. So Wednesday night, we're going to do Monster Manual 2 and talk about all the great monsters in that.
Good, you'll remember new monsters we'll have to fight.
What's that? What?
It's like the Algoid. You talked about Fiend Folio, and we had to fight one recently.
Yeah, and no one knew what it was. The audience had to tell you guys what it was. So that was awesome, and it got it'll be a great discussion. Love to reminisce and utilize these. Thursday night we finish up adventure number 920, Malevolence at the Tree of Life, which we saw the pics out for that, and I even showed some of the final encounters because I'm not they're all going to kill them all on this one. This one's going to be a TPK. Just kidding. So note that the ever mysterious Tim and his daughter Valerie will be playing again. So we'll have the Pixie back in the game, and we'll also have Fang the Barbarian back playing, and Pocket Stinkle. So we'll have a fun with that. It should be a full crowd there. I know Bill's going to be remoting in because he's got a personal engagement, so he'll be.
Yeah, my son's got a hockey game.
Yeah, so that'll be a real good one. And then this is wrong for next Sunday's Gabbin. Okay. And this is what always happens. So I set this one up again, Anna, if you're on, knowing that I was talking to a legend of the game who's been on a couple times. So this is wrong. It's not this. It is this one, which I thought was going to be 2 weeks ahead. Next week, Ed Greenwood comes back on. So I got, sound good, Mike? Ed Greenwood, Tony Winslow Bro, and Eric Mengi. We're going to talk Spellcasters of Greyhawk and the Realms. All right, and that'll be next Sunday's Gabbin. Ed Greenwood himself will be back.
Love it.
To talk, yes. So, yes, 2 weeks earlier than I thought. So we'll have Ed.
I can't wait to play D&D with that guy. I really
yes, you're next up. You're next up as a special guest.
Hopefully it comes soon.
Yes. As soon as I can get that. Yes, Ed Greenwood, Valandar, absolutely. I've had him on 2 other times, and I've DM'd for him once. So, and
Ed is great. I mean, he's a character. He's great to listen to.
Yeah, so this date is wrong. It's next Sunday because I thought it was going to be the 22nd, but Ed can make it next Sunday, the 8th. So we're doing it the 8th. So, and that'll be number 158. And I'll push back my update on, again, the second time I push it back, the Pomage update to that. So note that is coming next week. Huge announcement there. I told you that. So thank you all so very much. Troy, thanks, man. No, Ed Greenwood's real there, Bob. He's real. Thank you, Troy, for that cheer. Really appreciate it. Going back to the screen, please note I've linked multiple times in. I hit the wrong button there. Redbeard to purchase actual minis that Christine Van Patten and some other companies have posted there. That goes right to hers on Moonlight Minis. Christine, thank you so very much for coming on tonight. This is wonderful. And thank your husband too, Kyle. Thank you so very much, Kyle, as well. Really appreciate it. Mike, thank you for coming on again and participating and being part of the community. And Bill, thank you. Let's do the giveaways. 3 giveaways. If you're overseas, please take the Reaper one because of shipping. All right. So we're going to do together an unpainted Scarn. I'm not going to take it out of the wrapping to keep it protected. And an Overgourd. And then a $20 gift certificate to Reaper. So we got 3 giveaways. All right. Sounds good. Thank you there, Parentland, for that. Here we go. I'm going to set this up. I had all these technical problems on Saturday, and I guess it was Tim. I guess it was just Tim being Tim or something. I don't know why, but what a mess it was. But I had no issues tonight. I probably just cursed myself, right, Bill? Probably just cursed myself. Setting up
Okay,
the
now that you said something.
yes, closing out the giveaways. Here we go. All right, winner number 1. Soma, I think you're in. The winner, Canadian Ancient Gamer. Wow. Oh, there you go. Wow, that is awesome. Patrick, I got you, man. I got you into Canada. Don't worry about it. Yep. Canadian Ancient Gamer, one of our top. He has the most cheer of all time in the channel. Congrats, Canadian, second winner.
Just a top lad.
It's just
is
the
what
top.
he-
Yes, Kung Fu Grasshopper. There you go. Congrats. You are on Kung Fu. Do you want the Scarn Mini and Overgord print together, or the Reaper gift certificate? Your choice. So just tell us, Kung Fu, which one you want. Do you want the Reaper 20 or the Reaper? Okay, so Kung Fu, you got the $20 Reaper gift certificate. And then we got one last one. We have another Scarn Mini and Overgord print to the third winner, which of course now Grendelwolf Gitano. There you go, Gitano. I know right where you live, right in Philly. You live 6 miles from me, so you will get that out to you.
Philly.
Yes,
Philly.
Gitano, another long-term follower and sub. Thank you so very much. All right, who are we rating into tonight?
They can smell Philly in New Jersey, and vice
Or
versa.
Philly can smell Jersey. It's hard to say which.
I was gonna say, and vice versa.
Well, thank you everyone for such a great show. You know what? How about Big Jim Slade? He's on, and is he doing art? Someone want to check that for me? Big Jim Slade's pretty good. He's a good follower of Reaper and of Nighthawk Gaming. I don't see anyone. Our tabletop's on, but we've rated them just recently. I think we're rating the Big Jim Slade Gaming. Sound good? Good guy. And anyone with the name of Big Jim Slade, which if you know that's from the Kentucky Fried Movie, that's cool as it is. So, alrighty. Thank you, Christine, one more time. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Glad you had fun.
So much fun.
Yes.
I'll be back for gaming.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm gonna have to get that scheduled right away.
Yeah.
Yes, Mike, I will. I promise I'll get that scheduled. So, will Jay hit a wrong button? Probably. Here we go. All right, gonna raid into Big Jim Slade Gaming here. Let me get this set up. Sit tight, please. Raid. See if we can get over 70 into it. Yep. 72, 73, awesome. 74, beautiful. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We'll see you all Wednesday night. Here we go. Make sure it worked.
Yep, it's in.
All right, cool. Awesome.